get a motion to hold number 1 for representation?
Motion to hold number 1 for representation.
All right. Okay. Number 2, please. 25 Millbrook Road.
Marty? Yes, so now we go, I'm gonna. Oh, we don't have a name on her. I'll have to make one.
We haven't done anything with consent with conditions, or signs. Nothing. That's been held. This is held over till next Tuesday. We're starting with number 2. Welcome, Marty. Could you walk us through your application while we're waiting?
Okay, look how nice this is. Wow, pretty handy, huh? So, on my farm, or our farm on Millbrook Road, probably about 4 years ago, you approved a house move.
I remember it well.
Yes, that we scooped up this house down on Brand Point and brought it over there. And so we asked for permission now to do 2 additions to that house. Well, I wish I had a pointer.
I know, John had one.
Really? Oh, look at you. Yeah. Is it you just hold the button?
Yes,
Um,
there's 2, but
I have, oh,
Maybe, oh, there they are. Hold
other way.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna turn my hand around. Okay. Now, so this is an addition over here, and this is an addition over here. Okay, so do we get to go to the next? Okay, it's in the back of the farm. It's 372 feet from the road. Okay, so this is the original part of the house here.
What you see below.
And this is a small addition to that, putting on this roof over here. See this the way it looked? So we're bringing this wall out right there and filling in the roof right there so that we can get a little room out of there. That is a 13 by 13 square. And so we're just building that out. Okay. And then here, on this side of the house, that's where this is right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a living quarters on that side, and it's a bathroom, a closet, and a bedroom with a study upstairs. Now, this is the kitchen. Okay, in the existing house now and in the new house. It stays. So outside of the kitchen, which we're going to take another look at in the next frame, but we're adding a mudroom and a little covered porch to eat outside on. And then we would enter the house by driving into the garage. And there's some storage upstairs right now. And this building's 24, what is it? 24 by 28, yeah. Okay. So it's 2 nice additions. It is a 2-bedroom beach house, which is now going to be a 3-bedroom beach house. Okay. So here we're looking at the side of the garage. And I'll be back to put solar panels on the roof over there. This is the porch over the mudroom, which connects the garage to the house. And this is the bedroom, the closet, and the bathroom, which is right here. Okay. Maybe the next elevation is probably good. Okay. So this is facing Burnt Swamp. Okay, so, so this part of the house doesn't change. Here, this window is existing, but we're looking to make this large bank. It's kind of interesting. There's, the windows are small, and so we're trying to bring a little more light into the central living area. And then this is the addition, the bathroom with the, or the bedroom with the studio up above it. So you see, there's the window that's already there.
Which is different.
So we just add these two pieces. And there's a deck in front of it. It's what I call the unifying deck. And the deck allows us to, you know, come out of the old porch here and go across. Right, so that's a deck across the front of the house. Okay. Okay, let me see here. Okay, this is the, oh, I got one right now. I'm getting crooked. Oh, okay. This is the north elevation, right? Okay, so here's the original part of the house. This is the mudroom, and that's a garage. And this faces north. That is, of course, the addition with the bedroom on it. And that's the original here. So you see that window became a door into the kitchen. So we can drive around the outside and go right in the kitchen.
Marty, just for informational, what's the white mass on the roof? Is that a negative space or positive? What's...
Oh, thank you. That actually is, well, I was going to put a deck in there.
That's right
So
here.
that the upstairs had you could walk out, there was a little mini deck, so that's what do
Oh,
you
so
call
that's a
it?
shingle wall,
Hip wall?
a
Shingle
shingle wall.
Yeah, a little shingle wall,
railing.
thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, badly illustrated.
No, that's fine. I just wasn't
Yeah,
sure how to read
no,
it.
thank you. So that means the upstairs and the garage, you know, got a little step out.
To the back of the house.
Yeah, and it's north and faces east. So if you look at the plan on the house, and John, let me show you this.
Yeah, right here.
See here, this is due east. So morning light comes into the front deck. This is true north. There's going to be green side of the house. And then we come in from the west side. The sun will set this way and drive into the garage, and then that's all south on that side of the house. That's why the yard's built like that.
Quick question, is that Gooden's house?
Who?
Gooden? Richard Gooden?
No, this is Mark, oh hell, what's his name? The old fire chief. Mark McDougal. So this is Mark McDougal. This is Paradise Lane, John, on Millbrook Road. That's Paradise Lane, goes with the little Stark. The Stark family did that years ago.
Okay, then, over here.
That's this one and this one. That's Paradise Lane. Marty, just before we start,
Yeah.
what of this is visible from Millbrook or Paradise Lane?
No, the entire Paradise Lane has 20, 30-foot trees plus a full-size 16-foot hedge on it. You go by this time of year and you know you'll see in. As I say, here's existing. This is the road right here, Millbrook, right? And that is 300 feet to that. No, it's 350 feet to before my driveway, and the house is going to go
Right.
back there. So my house actually, you see that house right there? And that one, it's right in between those two.
Yeah.
So this guy isn't looking like, when I walk off my deck, I am right at that line.
Okay. Thank you. John, are you ready?
Yes, a comment. Go back to the map, please. Right. Hella Pond Road comes down here and it turns. That's Austin Road. Okay, you go up, you go down Millbrook Road, all the way around the corner. Right there, that's the property there, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I had the question on. You have,
And that's Paradise Lane, right? Paradise right there.
Okay, I'm looking at this here. Where is the greenhouse?
Those are the greenhouses.
1, 2, 3.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
This is the hydrangea park. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I got it.
There's
Okay.
Hydrangea Park right
All
there.
right, thank you.
Okay, those are your questions?
Yes, thank you.
Who's next?
I will.
Yeah.
I know the house well. It was a quirky little beach house. While some of these elements are quirky, I think it works. It's a farm. I'm good with it. I
Okay.
just want to ask a question. The roof, will it be black? Please say it will be.
The existing roofs on the farm, I think, are gray-green, that gray-green color.
I'm asking for solar purposes. We like
Oh,
to have
for solar.
black. Yeah,
Oh, so if I make the roof black, then it's black on black?
yeah.
Yeah, and then that way, you got a better chance, especially if there's any visibility from Paradise.
I'm,
Not
fine
saying
with-
guaranteed,
No,
but
no, no, I understand. I'm fine with black on black.
Okay.
more
okay with that?
black. or
I gotta
black
check the
stuff.
boss, okay.
The less you see those, the better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't wanna see
No
that,
super
Exactly.
heat on the HTC.
yeah.
Winter, maybe.
Do I hear a motion with something about black roof shingles?
Motion to approve with the roof color being black. Asphalt.
All in favor?
Aye.
John? All right, carries unanimously.
Thank you all.
All right, so we'll go with, I can't see who's behind me. I guess we're gonna get a motion to hold 7A Hussey Farm.
Linda's not here. Motion to hold number 3 for representation.
Thanks, everybody.
Let's see, number 4, 46 Wall Street.
Lewis isn't here.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Since you do not have a quorum to vote on the consent and consent with conditions, you can act to meet on Thursday just to approve those, a quick meeting if you prefer.
Well, no, we can vote, we can, Bell can abstain, we can remove Jesse's from the list.
Mhm.
We can remove Val's from the list. They
Okay,
can all vote on those,
okay,
and then they could step in, we'll do Val's, Jesse can vote
okay,
on them.
okay,
We'll do
Okay.
Jesse's, Val can vote on.
okay,
Okay.
okay, we can do it, okay.
You know what, since there's not people here, why don't we just get that out of the way now? And if, Kathy or Holly, if you don't mind tracking me on this, just because my cold medicine is floating around.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like to, Jesse, can you identify by list number which ones are yours?
Consent is.
We're going to consent.
Number 6.
And number 9.
And number 9? No, not on this one.
No, not under.
No, not consent with
Oh, yeah,
conditions,
he
just
is.
consent.
Yeah, he's number
Yeah,
9.
you're number 9.
You might have the wrong.
Well, this is the one that was on the table here.
Is it stamped, 10:06 a.m. in the upper right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you on consent or consent with conditions?
Conditions, is that what we're talking about, right?
No,
Yeah,
just
consent.
consent.
You're on
consent.
consent.
I
too.
thought
You're
we
on
were doing-
both.
Okay,
Not yet.
I thought we said consent with conditions.
So I may
Right.
have.
So yeah, 8 and then.
We're doing consent right now, John, and we're getting this
So-
cleaned up because there's people who need to recuse.
I'm trying to follow you.
Yes,
We're gonna do consent with conditions, and we're gonna pull some
I have
out.
a pen.
so it's number 9, Steve.
So, John,
Why do these not?
let me just think for a second.
Motion to hold mine for and then.
Yeah,
or
remove
motion to approve
his.
everything
So,
but
Jet,
mine.
would you make a motion to remove,
Motion
to temporarily remove Jesse's?
temporarily remove number 9 from consent.
Okay.
And then do you have?
Are you good with that?
I have to sit out.
Are you good with that?
Chip Stevens?
Yeah, we just need, you don't have to vote to approve them,
But
we need to
yours-
vote to
yeah.
remove them.
Wait,
We need your help with the agenda.
Take it off.
Yeah, are you okay with holding that?
I can't,
Removing it?
sorry.
You should be, Mr. Chair?
I'm on consent as well.
But you're not voting, we're talking about the agenda, just as you voted earlier to approve the agenda. We can discuss agenda matters. You can't vote on your own item.
But she has to remove hers as well.
Well, no, just trust me here for a second. So we have a motion to remove number 9 from consent.
To remove.
Does that carry? Yes, temporarily.
Right.
Temporarily. Just please. Any dissent? Jesse, you can't vote on it. So the 3 of us are good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jesse, would you now make a motion to remove temporarily numbers 4, 7, 8, and 29?
Motion to temporarily hold 4, 7, 8, and 29
And 29.
on the consent.
But,
items.
I'm sorry, temporarily remove.
I said that, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then
62 Cliff Road.
we vote on those. John, are you okay with temporarily removing them?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that those are removed,
Now everybody can vote.
I'd like a motion to approve consent with the exclusions not included.
Motion to approve the consent with the exclusions. Aye.
Aye. Are you,
Yeah, what we-
now we're voting on the consent items that weren't removed. Are you abstaining?
Were they here?
Yes, everything that wasn't
This
removed.
is,
Are you abstaining?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
we can hold those for another time.
Well, we could take up a motion. Jesse, would you make a motion to pick up consent items that are numbers?
I got them.
Thank you.
So pick up consent items numbers 4, 7, 8, and 29.
Is that all of Val's?
Mhm.
Okay. John? Yeah, these were the ones that were held, that were removed temporarily.
And 9.
Yeah, are you abstaining? Jesse made a motion to approve. 2 in favor.
Aye.
Val, would you make a motion, please, to pick up?
I motion to approve number 9 on consent.
Okay. John, Val picked up number 9. Are you abstaining? 2 in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we get to do this roadshow on consent with conditions.
Yeah.
Jesse, would you make a motion to temporarily remove from consent with conditions number 4?
Make a motion to temporarily remove number 4 from consent with conditions.
We're removing number 4 from consent with conditions temporarily.
And I motion to remove number 6 from consent with conditions temporarily.
Okay, and just for the record, I want to clarify that in all the instances that someone is not making a motion or eligible to make a motion, because they've refused, they are recused, just for the record. Is that copacetic with you, you guys think? Okay, I just want to make sure. So I'd like a motion, please, to approve the remainders, numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, and 9.
So moved.
Aye.
In favor?
Aye.
Now we're doing these ones, the ones that weren't. These were temporarily removed. We're gonna vote on the others. Are you abstaining? Or do you have any questions?
Yes, you want to bring this up?
No, we voted on those. We're on consent with conditions.
You're
We're on consent with conditions. We're on consent with conditions.
all right.
Trust me.
These two,
We're voting on 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8, and 9. Do you abstain, or do you have questions?
no, I understand.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
So, yes, we're all in on that. Jesse, can I have a motion to take up number 4, consent with conditions?
Motion to take up number 4 with consent with conditions.
In favor of number 4, John, or are you abstaining?
Understand.
In favor, Jesse and I, Val's recused.
Aye.
Val, would you please make a motion to take up number 6?
I would. I motion to approve number 6 under consent with conditions.
Okay, John, number 6, are you, any questions, or are you abstaining?
Understand.
Okay, Val,
Yes.
your vote?
Aye.
Aye, Jesse recused. And again, with respect to consent items that the respective parties were not voting on the motion, they were recused. So that concludes that sideshow consent and the second consent with conditions. I think signs, we can hold them
Yeah.
if Kevin shows up, but,
Yeah, we can hold them for right now. I don't know why he's not here.
okay, so we'll continue to hold those.
Motion to hold signs for representation.
Okay.
So signs,
So we're going to
Hold.
continue to hold signs for representation. And that's really doesn't need to be a motion because it was held, but we'll
Okay.
consider that unanimous just for the record. We're back to new business, and if I could get a motion to, well, let's see who's here. I recognize Ethan. Ben's here, Steve's here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Here, could you guys save me the difficulty? Ben, what number are you? What numbers are you? Number 11 and?
This number 11.
Okay, Steven?
Number 3, I believe, or 2.
5. Untitled Ledger.
That's a new business, right?
Yeah, I'm just doing some housekeeping. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Rich Larrabee on number 7.
Hey, Rich, you're number 7.
That's me,
Oh, that's Val.
yeah.
Team Val.
Team Val. Oh.
Okay, so can we get a motion to take up number 5, 2 Commercial Street?
Second that motion?
We held number 3 for representation. Did we hold number 4 for representation? 46 Walsh?
I thought I did.
Well-
Motion to hold number 4 for representation.
Okay, that carries unanimously, no dissent. Stephen, would you mind walking us through your,
Yes, I'm Steve Holger representing National Grid. Our agent wasn't able to attend. We had previously got approval for a raised switch platform down at Candle Street property, off Candle Street, off of Commercial Street. And we are now back for the curb cut portion of it. So we have to slide a driveway apron to the east.
you know what? I want to back up if you don't mind. Holly, would you mind picking up the site plan? And Stephen, would you mind showing us with a pointer what you're doing?
Oh, I thought we added that into our motion on the last
I
one.
thought we did too,
Yeah.
and for some reason, we
need a
didn't have the
separate-
correct paperwork.
You were,
Team.
no, this was Marty
Speak on
McGowan.
that if you want.
Oh,
No,
you did?
it's just housekeeping then.
No, it's
Not really, no, because it wasn't clear in the first one.
Okay.
All right,
You want
so,
this?
oh, you mean clear in terms of the plans?
Correct.
Okay.
Gotcha.
As well
John,
as the
he's gonna walk us
COA,
it needs a
the
separate
CO,
COA.
it needs a separate COA,
Okay.
Moving forward.
yes.
So could you just repeat, Stephen, you got an approval for the generator
Yeah, we
stand?
got approval for this big raised platform already. There's currently an exit driveway right here through the chain link gate. And there is currently a driveway, it's hard to see on this print, but there's a driveway entrance right about, starts right here, it's like here to here.
Is that what we have a picture of?
Yeah, that's what you have a picture
Okay.
of there. That's coming into where the Fagawi tent goes with the gravel parking lot right here. Because this platform is kicking this current fence line, if you will, edge line, kicking it into the gravel parking lot. It's consuming some of this parking lot. We also have to take the entrance and slide this entrance over.
Here is a better picture.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's current photographs there showing existing conditions.
Okay, and then what are you proposing to add or change with the 2 curb cuts?
Using the same curbing that's there, my understanding it's not historical, so we'll use as much of the same material as we can. I went to the structural advisory board, and they recommended that because of as we slide this, right now, there's a transition in Commercial Street from broken up pavement to cobblestones. And when we slide this entrance apron over, that transition's gonna end up in the middle of the apron entrance.
Oh, right.
So we agreed to go ahead and rip up the pavement there and bring the cobblestones all the way to this edge, the new edge. So it'll be cobblestones all the way to this edge and then transition to pavement here.
Gotcha.
And it'll be a cobblestone apron as well.
Perfect.
It'll be all
Question.
continuation.
Right there, is that Todd?
That's pavement, yeah, right up
Yeah,
till,
that's
They
right.
do
And what
pointers.
is this here? Is there a hedge across here? No.
yeah, there's a hedge there now with a chain link fence right now. And then in the previous approvals, you guys approved us with screening.
Okay, so just to be clear, on the lower right corner where the bubble is, the tarred road is gonna be cut back and cobbled so that you have a clean transition. Again, these are just for clarity. The next entrance over, was that previously approved with a board fence?
Yes.
There's no changes there, and then the following, there's no changes on the other?
Show me that.
No, there's planning board approval too with the contingency that we repair the fence on.
Which came in as a like kind, just so you all are aware of that.
Fence over here, which we since replaced.
So this was previously approved?
Yeah,
This was previously approved? So all we're talking about is making this cobble and making this cobble
Curb cut.
Correct.
and adding the curb cut
Where-
here.
It's really not a curb cut, it's
Same,
moving.
it's the same driveway,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
just,
already.
we're just moving it over.
Yeah, they're relocating a
It's-
curb cut.
It's enlarged and moved over.
Enlarged and moved over. Okay, so I have some comments. Now, does anyone have any other questions about what's being presented? Okay.
No.
2 Commercial Street, driveway open hardscaping.
Which number is that?
Ben, would you mind telling him what number that is?
That would be number
5.
5. On new business.
It's in new business.
Yep.
Okay, so the comments section of the report is that HSAB comments and, are that recommend existing cobble to west edge of new curb cut, recommend cobble apron. Continue on with Hollies. We do not know the age of this section of granite curb to be removed. However, staff recommends that they are used to create the corner roundings. Reuse existing material, brick 2, since the proposed, what are we using for DW?
Driveway, sorry.
I just never saw it with a slash, sorry.
That's a planner thing.
I thought it was
Sorry.
a
She's still her-
dishwasher. We'd like the dishwasher to be in front of the existing.
Motion to approve as submitted.
Okay, John has made a motion to approve as submitted. I just have one question I'd like to discuss on the motion. Even the existing materials are going, that come out that are waste are going where?
Good question.
It's,
We usually hire a civil contractor, and I don't know where they
it's
usually bring it.
supposed to per their curb cut approval. Once they get this approval from you all, they'll go to DPW. DPW requires you to give it back to them.
Okay, that's what I was gonna suggest, is if you aren't giving it to
Yes.
DPW, give it to DPW.
Okay, I'll make note of that.
Okay, so, John, can you, make your motion, amend your motion to include, unused materials to be turned over to the DPW?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. And that was approval per this request, right? They made the changes to it before we looked at it. Moving the cobble.
On the,
Yeah.
plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily on the plan, no. The plan doesn't reflect the
Okay,
cobble.
so,
So
That was-
you can add it as a
okay,
condition.
Yep.
okay.
Cobble, extend, cobble, materials DPW,
Thank you.
extra materials DPW. Okay,
On a different project.
can I get a motion to hold number 10 for representation?
No, we're not allowed to.
Recommendation.
I have to get
Okay.
top level.
Jess?
Motion to hold number 10 for recommendation.
You know,
That carries unanimously, no dissent. Can we take up number 7, 68 Union Street?
And Mr. Chair, just so you know,
11.
Mr. Chair, just
Oh,
so
are
you
we
know,
skipping me?
Oh. Yeah,
Why?
I didn't mean to.
Oh.
Can we do Ben and then we'll do you?
Okay.
and,
No, actually, no one's at the table yet. Let's go ahead with you.
and Mr. Chair, just so you know, number 1 is here, shelter 7, just
Okay, we'll
arrived.
pick him up after we get some of the others.
I would, we'll just do Larrabee because he's here. The other ones we can wait.
Well, no, let's do your stuff.
All right.
I didn't mean to skip over you. A lot of times you wait to the end, so I didn't even think about it. So I apologize.
Which one are we doing right now? 7?
We're holding number 6 for representation. We're holding, if that motion wasn't made, Jesse, will you make it?
Hold number 6 for representation.
All right, that carries unanimously. No dissent.
You know the name.
So we're gonna take up number 7, 7 Millbrook Road, new dwelling. Vale's recused as applicant agent.
did a little bit of encroaching.
Okay, good. Great. Okay, yeah, great. Passing them out. Good job.
All right, Mr. Larrabee, will you just state your name for the record for Terry for the minutes?
Richard Laird,
Junior, thank you. And Val, would you please walk us through, first your site plan and then the elevations on the screen?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Do you want to go back to the site plan? Sure. Presently, this property is divided differently.
Yeah, they can't
Which,
use an A&R.
Oh,
but more recently, it's been divided into the 3 lots you see in the larger scale there. It's still the same outline, just divided a little differently. Rich is building on lot 1, which is where you see the bubble. His parents' house, that's your parents, right?
It was until
Oh.
December, yeah.
Okay. Is the Long Ranch house that's existing on the site?
Is that one right there?
That's the new one.
That's the new one.
That's the one we wanna do, and his parents' house is a ranch that's already on the lot, or his
That's the
former,
existing-
Oh, sorry.
That's the existing, that's
His house.
the original house. and
Yeah.
That's the new house.
We're gonna get a pointer and tape it on a
will
string
still
at
always
that
be your
end.
parents'
Yeah.
house.
All right, Val, would you mind just walking us, is there any questions on the site plan?
That's Millbrook Road,
Oh.
is
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry,
right there.
we'll get there. This is
Yes.
our first
I'm
I'm
one.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting a little clicky happy here.
Go ahead, John. We're
I
just,
just said, I didn't want to say, with the houses, that's his, I thought his original house was down here.
it's
No.
up there.
Here?
Yeah, it's
Dick
the
and
original.
Nancy. So this is Dick and Nancy's old house.
Right? Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, you good on the site plan? You good with the site plan?
Yeah.
Is that an affirmative?
This is lot 1, it's up here.
All right,
I think we need.
can we do, go with an elevation?
Yeah, it's just a planning board thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
That's easy.
I asked you if you were done with the site plan.
I can't find it.
Okay, well then what's your question?
This is lot 1.
The lots are different. This is the lot.
All right. Got it.
It's here.
This is.
This is the lot. No, this area is the lot.
I'm reading this line.
No,
Yes,
it's
forget about the line.
I
You good?
pushed for it.
Okay. Val, could you walk us through the elevations?
Yeah, so, this is a
It's on this
modular from Dreamline Modular. And Rich likes several of the houses already in the neighborhood, which he's given you pictures of the size and massing of existing houses, with the exception of the former one-story house that's there. Most of the houses being built there are much larger. He likes the gambrel form in keeping with the farms that are around him. It's pretty straightforward with a porch on the front and a garage that you will enter from the side. You'll drive around so you don't see those doors from Millbrook.
Okay.
The materials are white trim, white sash, black roof, and, you know, cedar shingles.
Okay. John, are you ready?
Where is it? That's this square here, or this whole square?
The whole
Which?
square.
The whole square is the one they're building on.
It's been redivided, John.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Do you have any questions on the design?
not yet.
All right, Jesse, would you mind if you have any more comments?
Sorry, I don't have anything yet, but I'm looking, it's not bad. I think, two things that jump out, and I'm not trying to be picky, is the white trim just doesn't really, I don't think of a gambrel with white trim. I don't see that much. Do you see that much?
Some.
And maybe ungang the windows on the garage, second floor.
Mm-hmm.
The three,
The triple
Yeah.
on the front and the back, or the
Yeah.
rear and
The garage doors, I don't know if they're gonna be viewable, but they don't seem, is this just, they don't seem traditional, and I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, and, because the X does kind of remind me of a little bit of farming.
mhm.
Right.
So if that's what you're going for, that's cool, but maybe it's,
Could you, Val, maybe describe what that actually, the CAD is not always what is built.
Yeah.
So could you describe those for us?
Is it an overhead door or is it a swing door? I didn't draw these, so I'm.
They were supposed to be the solid overheads that come up and slide in,
Okay.
so not a roll up,
And then the materials,
wood,
wood, is it V-groove with
that I couldn't,
your,
I don't know.
and is that a design that you're interested in, or is that just how they did it?
Both.
Okay.
I asked the designer to make it look farmhouse-ish, and that's what he presented.
So the cross bucks I guess, I mean, my guess is that,
They're supposed to resemble barn doors.
yeah, my guess is that just, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, we can always make it a condition, is that those crossbucks and frame are all one plane, so that when the door goes up and comes down, they're not in the, hit in the head casing. And then the infill is either behind it or flushed up with it. What's the visibility on those, Dale?
That's gonna face,
How many feet back are you off
You're
the road?
pretty far
300?
yeah, 300 from Millbrook, but those doors that actually face Hummock Pond, and we're behind all that brush and the houses on Hummock Pond Road.
So very limited or no
I
visibility,
don't think
or
you're
no
gonna have
visibility?
No visibility.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, unless he clears the whole lot, I mean, it's not gonna be very viewable.
okay.
It's gonna be behind, Karen Gibbs, where her houses are on Hummock Pond Road. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her houses.
The general area, but, Jesse, any other thoughts at this point? Nope. Okay, thank you. John?
Is, Ned Canberra, but is that Leah Bear's house?
Yes,
Leslie?
yes it is.
Oh, that's my question. The number here, what page is it?
It doesn't matter, I'll tell you
Okay.
what.
Yes, sir.
We just discussed,
Charlie,
Yes.
can you put the X is on the inside and the boarding on the outside? The
Agree
X's
to
on the
it now,
outside.
and you can come back, if they
Absolutely.
can't be seen, you can have them. Yes, we'll
Yeah.
make them just plain.
just a V groove,
Plain
Wood
doors.
applied for now,
yeah, cedar wood
get rid of
applied.
those, and they're gonna be natural to weather,
Okay,
We do the same with the trim. too,
and the trim
natural
can be
trim.
natural to weather as well.
and that's what's on the application?
It's
That's
white,
not
Okay, and the height is 26.8 top of Silky Peak. Okay,
Yeah.
that addresses any concern I had with that. So I think we have three things. Jesse, if you were care to make a motion. One is that the trim is natural to weather. Two is that the doors are just a applied wood, natural to weather. And three is that the garage gambrel gables would have the windows separated by, what, 6 or 9 inches apiece, the triple gang?
Yeah, I mean, whatever's
Just to
traditional.
match like the front of the house
Yeah.
above the
Yeah.
porch? Just
Yeah.
open them up a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we'll do Exhibit A just because it'll facilitate,
through staff, so that means
and
it's
it'll be
approved
through staff,
pending the corrected drawing.
and it'll be to separate and separate. We'll go with my spelling on that.
Save those for the next one.
Hey, I wanted to do that.
No cross bucks at this time. They're not getting them at this time, they can always come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Restricted so they'll see.
Here, if you want an exhibit A of the doors, are these,
No, you're good.
okay,
Change to-
okay.
So that's 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve per exhibit A.
okay.
John, you in favor?
Thank you.
You're pardon me?
So,
Are you voting
Yes,
in favor?
yes.
Okay.
okay.
So, unanimous, subject to Exhibit A.
Oh, you're moving it forward? Aw. Good sign.
Where's your little highlighter? No, your orange one.
All right.
Where's your orange highlighter? Circle that, would you?
Smooth.
I will.
All right.
Send them an email.
So, yeah, you do.
Sure, for exhibit A?
Yeah, ASAP. It's just like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, if you need help, yeah. Okay, sorry.
So I actually have to write acting after each one.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Fun. Okay, let's please get a motion to take up number 8, 15 Warren Street.
This is, very simple. When I came in for original revisions on this house, we were talking about going back to the historic door, which was a double glass, like you see, I have the approval right there. They presently have a 6-panel door, which is what you see existing south in the upper left. They'd like to change that door that they have to a 6-panel, but have 2 bits of glass in the top of the door. That's all this application is.
That one right? Commissioner over there. That great door up there, it's a 6-panel.
Do we have a pointer
there.
that we can lend this under the table and I'll
Gallery.
keep an eye on it?
What?
Do you mind?
That's a 6-panel door.
That's their existing door. We were gonna change it to what you see is approved. What they'd like to do is,
The one closest to me.
That's
they'd
good,
like
put
to
that door.
take the 6-panel look and add 2 pieces of glass to the door.
Right, 'cause that's usually Victorian style, so anyway.
Right, but I would say if you remember this or not, I don't know if it was on view, I apologize, but this is a very unusual lot that doesn't have a direct access to it. You have a walking path to the front door from Warren Street, which is its address, but you actually arrive at this place via Boyer's Alley. It's in the middle
Yeah.
of a bunch of things.
So there's a path here, but this is the main entry.
This is Peter DeBarrow's sister and her husband. Remember when we came in before?
It's only 15 feet wide, yeah.
Questions? Any questions?
And there's a house in front of it. on
Any
each
questions of the applicant?
No, let's see, is that roof over the front there, down the sides, what is that?
It's going back to, we'd like to emulate what they had approved in the historic photo, previous page.
Which is
Yeah.
not part of this application.
Right, and it was already approved.
Okay, where's the-
It's
go
got
back-
scroll
go
work,
back to
it's
that
not
photo.
just brackets.
Right there. Is that air conditioner?
Paperwork in your hand is the photo.
Thank you.
No,
What?
John?
is that air conditioner?
No,
He's
it's a
beyond
gas
it.
tank,
Right, thank you.
Okay,
and
Jesse,
it's getting
questions
very,
or comments? That's the historic,
I marked it.
Oh, pretty.
yeah, that's not no 90-degree
I
angle.
don't know if that pointer is a good thing for John to have. He's just gonna use it because he can.
Before we vote, I do have comments from HSAB and staff. So, sad for the request to not replace historically appropriate door and keeping the existing 6-panel. Second, door should remain as approved previously or be similar to historic photo on the cover sheet. Val, did you attend? I was just curious if they had, the benefit of your input with respect to visibility and so on and so forth.
I wasn't there, so
Okay.
I don't think that was as clear as it could be if you wanted to put it on a view list.
Yeah, this is,
I'm not gonna, no, I just wanted to, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Motion to approve. We already did.
No, I didn't take any motions yet.
Oh.
Did I?
I thought, no,
No.
sorry. Motion to approve.
Okay, John, there's a motion to approve.
question. Are they, this door is existing?
No, that was in 1850.
Oh, okay.
The door that's existing is what's in the photo.
Thank you.
And that's due to, some limited visibility. Is that appropriate?
Sure.
Okay. So is that appropriate to your motion? Okay. John, are you in favor?
Yes.
So, that would be a unanimous. I will comment that you probably wouldn't get this door approved today at the HTC.
Oh,
You can only
The
do
old
it with photographic evidence.
Yes.
That's right.
Thank you for pointing out that image. Okay,
Oh, no.
so we will now take up Prickly Pear Trust, 17 Broadway. Okay.
Huh?
I know.
Okay, as long as you know I have a comment.
I know. I did too.
Okay, so, Val, if you would
wanna read the,
I kinda like to go through and get any questions answered and then read it, so there's
okay,
context.
so this is a house that is circa 1800. There's a lot of history on this house, which I did put together. I also included some of the drawings from a book called Early Whaling Houses, I think by Freeman? Foreman, on the front.
Okay,
And-
before you move on, the site plan, is there any questions, John?
No, I know the building.
Good, Jess? Okay, thank you, go ahead.
So those were just two bits of, I thought, kind of funny information to have. It shows an original house that says, very much has changed next to House of Lords. And then on, the image next to it, it shows pretty much what the house is today. And the front of the house isn't changing at all.
Is that your next elevation?
So there's the front west and the proposed west, there's no change.
So fenestration changes only?
No, none, nothing.
I'm
Zip-
confused. It says existing and proposed in the proposed.
Right, so what I'm
windows.
showing you is proposed, nothing's changing.
It says no changes to, on the west, and then,
And then on the south, that's the existing at the top, and, oh, wait, here's my pointer.
Yeah, that's what, I'm sorry, that's what I was looking at.
This
the
is
south.
proposed with no changes, just
Gotcha.
for it to be clear.
Gotcha.
This is the existing south, which is, you know, one of those little alleyways between houses.
He's changing these windows.
And
a dormer.
what's changing on this facade is the addition of 1, 2, 3, 4 windows
Okay.
and a dormer.
John, any questions on that?
Yes,
Yeah.
what is your
She's,
crosswalk?
she's at
That's already there.
existing.
Okay, your photo?
There's plenty of photos.
Okay, thank you.
No, it's all right. So she's adding these. Bill, you wanna go to the next set of?
Well, so, okay, yeah. All right. The east is the most significant changes.
Yes.
It would be this is existing, proposed. They presently have 2 banks of casement windows. They would like to change these to double hung, fold up and in windows, which I did, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, put in an example somewhere in this application. So they're true divided light.
A tilt turn, double?
No, they push up and fold in. Anyway, aside from the mechanisms there, this used to be a porch on the inside between this wall and the living room is a shingled wall with windows in it. So they thought they'd try to open that up again somewhat, leaving windows but having the ability to open them. On the second floor, they're proposing the same type of window here. The windows in the remaining part of the house are just gonna be double hung to match what's there. See, there's a double hung there they wanna add to. Nothing's changing here, and then this is probably the bugaboo,
Potential.
the dormers, over the dormers.
Okay, so,
And then on the north, again, there are no changes. So the most significant changes would be on the east.
okay. And we're just going through the drawings right now first,
Yeah.
just so you know. Okay, so are there any questions on the drawings before we do comments? I want to do HSAB
Yep,
comments.
absolutely. If you look at your floor plans, it will show you the type of windows I'm talking about.
Okay, let's. Jesse, any questions?
no questions, comments, but no questions.
Okay. John, you have questions at this time, not comments, just questions.
Oh, he's got pictures,
Question,
I guess.
yes, I had, what was it?
Just questions at this time.
What are these 3/3s in the zone? 3 lights, I mean, in the zone.
Those are fixed.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll read comments and then we'll take comments. Sconset Advisory East, okay with changing casements. All third floor dormers are inappropriate. As dormer on top of dormer. Proposed north dormer, okay if meets guidelines. Setback side. Setback from side 3 feet. Roof to be dropped 1 foot below ridge. Dormer large enough for 1 3-light sash. So those are all with respect to the northern dormer. South, no problems with proposed. South elevations, windows should be same size as existing on other elevations.
Which side?
South elevation windows should be the same size as existing on the other elevations.
Okay, they are.
I didn't know that.
Oh, so you, is the two center on the gable are different size?
Oh, because one's in a
the-
living room and one's in a bathroom.
I guess because of the ganged that you have on the bottom, the double. No,
Down this
right
one?
here. Yeah, that one.
Oh, that
So that's in that sunroom. It's to match the other windows
Gotcha.
around the corner is why those were different.
Okay,
Okay,
makes
okay.
sense.
And, John, are you ready to comment?
I just have a question though.
Yep.
And Holly might be able to answer it if she understood their comment. They're okay with the dormers on the sides, but not on the side that they face, so that doesn't make sense.
So,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's what I didn't understand. At first I thought it was a north dormer.
Say their comments
Could we
again.
go back to the, yeah, would you show the elevation
Yeah.
with the 3 dormers?
This one, so
This one? Yeah.
Yeah,
read
So-
those comments again.
Yeah.
She said something else, she's okay with the north dormer.
it says proposed north dormer okay if meets guidelines, and then it goes on to state the
Right
guidelines
here.
in case we're not aware of what they are.
This is here and this is here, so it's just this, but the
There's
funny
no
thing
north
is,
dormer.
they're okay with that if it meets the guidelines, but none on this side.
This.
Okay.
So
And
I would,
that's that dormer.
correct. So I would take that as this is a no.
Okay,
So,
okay,
so that's their comment. Basically, I think what they're saying is the view from the north is not inappropriate if that dormer otherwise meets the guidelines, the dormer that's visible otherwise meets the guidelines. Okay. John, do you have comments?
Yes, right, what is, I can't read that.
It's add
Add
dormer.
Okay, my eyes are.
That's okay.
Well, to be fair, John, it blows up, it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, you can't see that.
I found only one house that has 3 dormers on the 3rd floor,
Hey, guys, would you mind? Thanks.
in June, you know? The only one house that I can find has got 3 of them now. This information, it's up on North Liberty Street.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jess?
Comments?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about dormers. Certainly with how historic the property is. I can be persuaded with some of the windows on the 1st and 2nd floor, but the dormers are a bit of a pinch for me.
I would agree with the comments about the casements, and I think that the north dormer, I actually find appropriate with the quirky dormers out in Sconset in of itself. But I think that the dormers, I'm saying on the east elevation, the dormer visible from the north. The other 2 dormers, I'm concerned, are just overkill on top of the other dormer, given the just that context in the area. Do you have, or would you be able to provide images that show similar circumstances and treatments with dormers?
No.
No? Okay. Do you
I
want,
would just say, is there any possibility of eliminating these 2 and just keeping 1? And the reason I left it the same distance is the one below, which is already there. I
right,
didn't want to bring this dormer up and make it any bigger than the one that's in the front to try and get a little headroom up here.
my suggestion would be perhaps to bring back the 2 as options to see what they look like in the revisions.
Okay.
And I would ask you to, try and substantiate with imagery.
Okay,
I think that's,
but is everything aside from the dormers okay?
Jesse?
The other thing that, I just try to, we got these old historic buildings, we try to keep the silhouette as much as we can. On the east elevation, those 3 windows, which would then represent also that's that porch, right?
No, here,
East and south elevation?
On the
Wait a
first
minute.
floor, Jess?
Yeah, on the first floor,
Yep.
so.
that's the
So the-
porch,
that's the
which
south
is, if you go
elevation.
to the next
Right.
page, ties
That's
in
the-
with
that's
that,
the east elevation.
right?
And it would be nice if we could try to match what is already there. So,
You want casement windows? We're
I'm-
trying to get rid of those.
well, when I say, I mean match, that doesn't mean, so if you could get closer to that size,
That's what I was getting at too.
As double hungs, but smaller
Yes.
size.
Okay. Like, that is more of
I
CV
think you
lineup.
just, when you say, just for clarification,
Oh,
sorry,
and then-
you
then
mean
you're-
widths?
yeah, widths, yeah, I mean, it doesn't, even the quantity windows, like, it can be 3. I'm not
So-
trying to design it, but what happens if you do that, then your whole fenestration of larger windows then,
Kind of goes to the wayside.
yeah, so, I don't know. It kind of is a domino effect, because if you do that there, then the other, because on the original elevation, those windows match.
Right.
First and second floor, so now you would then want to probably carry that all the way through, which I'm
Well-
not trying to.
Yeah,
So Bill, I would suggest that, John, are you, any comments on that?
Yes, are the 6/6s, it says
Here.
to double hung, fold up.
Here.
The only fold up windows I know of are down in that freshman. This is, this is,
that is not here. That was just
I
from
know
the
where it is.
catalog.
so you see, shows it's up in America.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I was trying to make a comment that the fold up windows, the only ones I've seen are similar to this in the restaurant behind the Catholic church. There used to be a restaurant there, maybe it still is, a movie house.
Oh, you're talking about, the gaslight.
These cartridges, these are fold-up windows.
Okay.
Are we gonna allow, start putting new type fold-ups like that in the old historic area? That's my question.
I think that remains to be seen. So I think what I would suggest at this point, if you guys are in agreement, is that we get a motion to hold for revisions with respect to the dormers, and the applicant reconsider, or at least consider the window changes and bringing in a larger format image of what is being proposed with respect to the mechanism.
okay,
And the reason I'm suggesting we hold off on anything definitive with the fenestration on the first and the second floor is I think once the dormers are resolved, it may change the perception of
Right.
windows, but please keep in mind that there are some concerns.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
a lot of
I
windows.
opted for that as opposed to the kind that you just
Right.
latch
Yeah.
up.
Especially right on the street there, people will be wagging their head on it.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, and just to be clear,
And
if
they
you can
don't
do-
have a yard, so it's sort of a way to have a,
if you can do an
porch.
8.5 by 11 or something of that, you
yeah,
can see it.
yeah.
So
Do
a
you want me
motion
to
to hold
leave
for
this
revision?
here for
Sounds
future
good.
use?
Yes, please. So moved. Jess?
Yes.
Okay. Revisions, John? Okay. Carries unanimously, no dissent. Okay. All right, so we are, do we have any housekeeping to take up? I think we have shelter 7, number 1 Cambridge Street, hardscape.
What's it under?
We're gonna take up, can I get a motion to take up 1 Cambridge?
New business?
Yeah,
What's that?
motion to take up 1 Cambridge Street.
Oh, motion to go back to 1 Cambridge Street on the new business agenda.
Okay, great. And we'll wait for that.
Are we on number 10?
No, we're on number 1. Here,
It's fine, it'll be fine.
we're going back to number 1.
Is Does anybody want a cutie? Whatever they call them.
I will at the break.
They're organic.
Right. All right, so, if you could state your name for Terry for the record.
Jason Olbreeze.
And Jason, what we'd like to do is have you walk us through the site plan. And then, we'll ask any questions we may have.
Okay.
And then I'll read comments from, the advisory boards, and then we'll provide our comments.
Okay. Essentially, the site plan shows two main things. Adding a board fence with an arbor gate. That's going to split the, this here is a condo with a neighboring building that's 6 South Water Street. So currently there's a hedge between the two, and we'd like to put a solid board fence between the two buildings. Fence. So essentially it's a fence with a gate. And inside the, behind the fence will be a patio. Currently there's a pea stone gravel patio with some steppers. We're proposing a solid bluestone patio. And then adding two, there's currently two awnings on that west elevation, but we would like to add some awnings over the, I guess, it's not here, but north elevation.
Oh, the chocolate shop.
Would you mind
Yes.
using the pointer?
Yeah, sure.
The one closest to you. The button on that one.
This is it?
Yeah, but it's the button that's closest to you.
Okay. Okay, here we go. So, we have, these are new awnings, proposed new awnings. This one on the side is existing.
Yeah.
Okay. The door currently is a double French door 15 light. We would like to do a 3.0 door with side lights. And this would look like just a bunch of doors that kind of look like this for shops. Solid raised panel with a glass top. And this would be a glass side light with a solid panel that matches the door. So awnings, door, and a solid board fence. And that's about it. Color change. So the colors of these sash. Oh, there's a window here that's existing. We'd like to remove it.
Okay.
And these are currently green. The door's green. The sashes are green. We'd like to change that to a blue. I put into the file.
What about the awning color?
I actually. Oh, sorry.
Is that the blue you mentioned?
No, that was the
Blue was for the door, and the
Oh.
awning's currently green, but we wouldn't do green because we're changing sashes from green. It would be like a beige color, right, to be determined exactly. I have to look at the awning company offers and get a close match.
The sash and the doors are Brewster gray.
Brewster gray. It's a blue. It's gray. Blue gray.
Is that two-tone gray that was on, over in Shimo? Do you remember? You kind of look at it in one light and it's
It
blue,
looks
and you
blue
look at
and
another
it's
and it's
gray.
gray. I'm not qualitative, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to figure out. Do we have a chip?
I thought I put chips in there, but maybe I didn't. I used.
That might be something we
I
need
have
to
it,
look at.
I didn't
I
see
had
a chip.
approved on another house in Westchester, so I can bring in chip if you don't have it.
Okay, and then just while we're on colors, I want to jump in with a quick question. The awning cover, the awnings, the fabric, the color, I think we need a swatch
Okay.
and like a tear sheet sample.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just something, 8.5 by 11, little description and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
John, do you have any questions?
Yes, where is this door showing from the, this is on the, in Indian Street. This door is the front door of the structure?
Right
Well,
now,
it's one of the front door. It's the front door to the shop, the chocolate
Here,
shop.
these two.
Here.
Chicken, which one were they?
Yeah, but they've been there for a long
This-
time.
No.
Right above the AC unit.
I don't.
You
I
know,
don't
see,
think
it's
it's in the
tucked. It's
image.
tucked in.
It's
Tucked into this image here.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
there.
don't get downtown much.
It's right behind that tree.
The square
I'm
thing?
like, oh my
The
God.
little
No, not
one?
that one, but
Look,
it's
photos
next to that
shot
park
down
bench
there.
there.
Okay.
Looks really
Any other questions before I read comments?
nope.
What color is the awning?
We're gonna ask him to come back with colors. It's like a tanny beige or a beige and tan or something.
Light tan.
Al, one other question. Do you have a separate hardscape for the AC?
That's existing, that AC unit.
Is it,
It's not shown in the original existing north elevation.
let me ask you this way.
Well,
Is
it's
it,
there.
is it screened?
No.
Okay, so then it is visible from the street?
Yeah, that's there, and the window is there. Yeah, I didn't draw it on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right. I missed that. So that's actually there. It's there. It's ugly, but we're actually probably gonna remove it. And once I get the price on that, but it's there.
And it's
AC
circle what?
unit right there.
It's been around, it's been there for 15 years or?
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't know how long it's been there. The previous owner.
They have a bench in front of it.
It's,
Okay.
It's like the vintage.
I just, if it was something relatively new, I'd want to address it.
I think it should still be screened if it stays.
Okay, so we'll take that up in our comments.
Yeah, I think it's most likely going to be removed because we're putting in probably central air, so that's a mini split. That's just for the shop. So most likely that'll just go.
Okay, so I'm gonna read comments now and then we'll do comments.
Okay.
One other, I'm sorry, the door is glass panels, is that correct?
Yeah, there'll be a glass panel door, a typical retail style door.
Two, top glass, bottom glass, or just the top?
Just the top, bottom is a solid
Okay, so a
panel.
single light, okay. So, let's see, HSAB comment, sorry Jason, is, doors too formal, small lights, question mark, prefer informal cottage style. Window is original, existing AC, question mark, existing AC approved, question mark, fence in front of AC, if window removed, exclamation mark, awning color, question mark, proposed AC should swap with trash area and be screened on the south elevation, other, awning color, question mark, board fence slightly overwhelming, brick patio preferred with lower fence, what is trim color, fence color? Do they not get the application when they, or are they just not looking at it?
I don't know, I wasn't.
No idea.
It's only one person.
Arbor will match better with louver fence. No, I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signatures.
Oh.
Louver fence?
When, what was the date of that?
This is 224.
Yeah, so that was a couple weeks ago.
So,
The next set of comments, door okay, gray only, too formal for bluestone, window removal okay, fence too tall, what color? Awning addition is okay, but what color? All right, so who'd like to start with the comments? John,
No comment.
at this time or at all?
No comment.
Okay. Jess?
Yeah, I think that's really the, I don't know enough about historical doors to give this credit or not credit, but based on what the advisory board has said, they were okay with it, so that tells me that it's a nice door. And
No, I don't think that's what they said, is it?
they said,
Door is too formal for this
formal.
entry.
or the other advisory or comment.
Oh, what did I say?
Yes, door okay, gray only. You advisors need to get your act together.
Hey, I review first and they review, my bad, sorry.
I'm just teasing you. Okay, we'll go with that.
So, you know, and then definitely, I'm not crazy about the beige awning, but again, I haven't really noticed what color awnings are in town, so if it's common, then I could decide differently. I'm okay with the bluestone in the back. The louver fence, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I
Is
did
that some
either.
terminology? I think of louver fence, I think of a fence that's on an angle.
Right, like
So a so what's proposed is a 6-foot board fence with a cap, and I think what they're saying is a lattice, maybe?
Okay. Oh, like a 5-in-1.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I would
Because this is
presume.
6 foot now.
I can bring it
Oh,
down.
you know
too.
what?
I know they said it was a little tall. I can always bring it down.
Yeah.
It's my error, or lower fence. It looks
Lower
like a
fence.
louver.
Okay.
Ah,
Alright.
that would make more sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the fence being a little high, but I see how it matches nicely with the window as well. And I could go either way on that, and I'm okay with the bluestone. I think you know, it might be nice to do a little trim of brick somewhere in there. Maybe just kind of, you know, add a little bit of red brick.
We are gonna add brick on the outside of the fence.
Yeah.
So that'll match right from the street into the fence area. On the inside, we're thinking bluestone just because it's easier to pave with it, but maybe some trim work with it.
So yeah, I you know, I think that's my comments.
Okay. Val?
What color are the windows gonna be?
Same as the door.
So a bluish.
It's Brewster Gray, HC, I forget the number.
I know, it's just.
I think I'm gonna suggest, if I
We
may,
need a
that
color?
we would get color swatches to
Yeah.
all the, you know, the awning, the door trim, the building trim, and any of the colors on the building, let's get them all together and make sure they're copacetic.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't mind adding awnings either. I would like to see the little AC screened, even though it is there. That would be a nice gesture. And the fence is kind of high. Is there a reason why the little transition area of the arbor doesn't line up with the fence? Is that,
Yeah,
see
that's a
how
good
it's
point.
above?
Yeah. It's probably just a, yeah. Even
I
if you
don't know
just
why.
drop-
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you
Yeah.
just drop it that 4 inches.
And it says only 5'6", not 6 feet, so
Well,
I think that's okay. 5'6".
I moved it, it was 6 and I made it shorter because I thought it would.
Where do you see 5'6"?
Right there.
Okay, so the plan is
I,
6 foot.
yeah,
So,
it was originally 6. now
The
it's
reason
5,
it doesn't bother me is that it's set back. It's cutting, it's, you know, meeting up with this turret. It's not right on the sidewalk.
Right.
And if you had to, we could soften it with some plantings in front of it. I know I see there's a garden
There's
bed,
gonna be a garden bed
but
there.
something
Yeah.
a little more substantial maybe.
Val, are you also, just for clarification, are you also seeing that fence on the Cambridge Street side is the same height? If you look at the site plan.
Yeah, that's now, like, there is a fence there, isn't there? There's no picture of it. Oh, it's right here. It's just a little short,
Lower.
Well, yeah, right now there's this fence that's there now,
yeah.
and Eric put in, in fact, he put in a taller fence that looks like this.
Oh, in
fence.
between?
Over, just from here over.
Oh,
This is an older photo.
yeah.
Like, not that much older. It's a
So,
brand new fence you just
To
put
be
in.
fair to you, I would probably want to view this.
For the fence purpose.
Yeah.
So then we'll register concern about the fence height, the existing AC, and the colors, and ask for a
Swatch.
set of color swatches and the awning tear sheet. Is that a motion?
I second that motion.
You want to make it first?
First that motion.
And view.
All right. John, we're gonna ask for
And a
a
view.
view
And a
and
view.
colors,
And a view.
Doing colors.
view and colors,
But
and register some concerns
The
about the
door
fence.
looks good otherwise.
I haven't heard any other concerns about the door.
Well, I forgot to mention, what I think it's missing for me is the little panes that tie in with the windows that are there. Is there any way to even just divide up the side light?
Oh, I would, the sidelights, yeah, we can do that.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
How the glass of
I
the-
agree,
Okay.
yeah, I agree.
Or if there's some way to pick up the jewelry box, kind of, I mean, it doesn't actually go around all 4 sides on the side
Right.
windows,
Mhm.
but if you can carry something over on that, you might be really successful.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay, great. So we have, John, we're gonna hold for revisions and colors and a view, mostly a view.
Okay.
That carries unanimously, no dissent.
All right.
And we are now
Hi,
gonna
Jason.
go to, all right, guys.
Is Brooke here? No.
Nope.
Linda Lewis Bowditch, not here. Curtin, not here. Brooke, not here. Ben, 68 Union Street, please. Lift Cottage.
68. Ah, yeah, this one. This isn't.
Ben, if you could just state your name for the record for Terry on the tape.
Benjamin Norman.
And then, same drill, we're gonna have you walk us through, starting with the site plan, and, we'll ask any questions when you're done. And then I'll read any comments, and then we'll make our comments, and then everyone can go home. Or, I mean, then you can go home.
Okay, see ya.
So, this is an existing cottage, that was probably built in the late 90s, early 2000s. At that time, it was not built excessively high out of the ground and is subsequently getting flooded and severe damage to the framing. And the framing is TJI web joist, so that leads me to know the date is pretty modern. The web is rotting out severely. So we are lifting the building to meet current floodplain requirements, and subsequently also just reworking the egress steps and porches because we are raising it 2 feet.
Do you have a picture of the house that sits in front of it?
The one that sits in front of it is very old, and I don't think I submitted pictures of it, but
Because that would
it doesn't match this building at all.
No, but I mean for
Ele-
visibility
from a height
purposes.
standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can tell you that when you go down the driveway, you drop a good 2 or 3 feet in grade from Union Street.
We can pull up the property card if you wanna see that.
Yeah, would you mind?
I think
That'd be
it's
great.
I think it's kind of a Greek
Let's get in there.
revival-like thing. I've
I
actually
think
never
it is.
been
It might
inside
be, did I list it on that yet? I think I did.
Okay.
Stand
Surprised it's
by.
only.
All right, so while we're pulling on that up, Ben, any other comments on the application itself?
No, I mean, I guess I'll just stress that, you know, this isn't because they want it higher in the air, it's because it is compromised and it's currently in the floodplain and is trying, so we're trying to meet
Okay.
the floodplain.
Okay, Jesse, questions at this time?
No.
Val?
Not yet, no.
Okay, John, do you have any questions?
Yes.
No comments yet.
You look Shankl's property?
No.
There we go.
There it is.
Is it?
So you can
No,
see
it's
the,
next
you can
to
see
it.
our little
No,
table
that's-
out back there.
That's the
behind.
front,
Yeah, see,
and
you
then
can
this,
see
the
it.
one in the
Kind of
back
rolls it back.
is the
There?
one, this one.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's exactly right.
This was Wiley's
mall.
house.
Oh, gotcha.
Is that?
Okay.
I
And
know
then
sometimes
Ben,
that
just-
helps.
Sorry, just when we have that, image up, the grade, so this is where we can see that the grade drops off on the inside of the yard area versus the
Yeah, you
street
can kind of see how,
parking.
you can see where that, our little cottage is back here, yeah, it dips down quite a bit. I mean, it's not gonna be taller than this building, I don't know the height of this building,
Okay,
but you can see that there's quite a bit of a grade difference as you go into the backyard there.
okay,
I can do the topography if you'd
comments?
like.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about this. I mean, it needs to be lifted, and I think to make it lift looks fine.
I think we need some affirmation of the flood height that's required.
certification letter by
Yeah.
the
I have it.
surveyor.
Yep.
We've already gone through Concom, I have that paperwork.
Okay.
Jeff Blackwell is certified that the
topography?
heights and everything is, I'm happy to submit that as hopefully a staff approval.
tell
if you want.
Okay. I'm sorry, I want to go back, concerns, HSAB concerns are, they didn't have a quorum, concerns with proposed elevation without guidelines, those are in the works. Who recommended 2 feet, so that's surveyor, based
Bare
on FEMA, bare minimum, so you're on record. The elevation is on piers, a skirt is required, not sure the proposed board skirt is appropriate. The cottage has a bungalow type feel, shingled skirt may be more appropriate. So based on those, Jesse, any further comments?
No, I don't think shingle would look better. I think it would make the house look too long.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And Val, any other?
No.
Okay. John, comments?
Any interest?
I don't think there's any air conditioners on the property. I don't think it's an air conditioned building. I don't know that for sure, but we can look at the pictures and if you see one, it's probably rusted out.
Okay. So, Ben, I guess my comment is, the certification from the surveyor, does that include a sea level? Or is it based on, what are we using as your benchmark?
So I believe that, I haven't looked at it in a couple months, but I believe that I have a elevation certificate for, I think, both buildings, to be honest with you. So it tells me that current floor height is at 6.2 or whatever. And then I can provide you with the floodplain minimum that finished floor needs to be elevation plus a foot. I think that's an elevation 9. So I believe it's elevation 10. These are numbers that I'm just throwing out there. I have to review all my information. But when we reviewed it, it required a 2 feet raise to meet that floodplain plus 1 foot.
So see, that's where we need to come up with something, because that, you're saying you're gonna go a foot above what the water line is with the joist.
No, with finished floor.
So Joyce will be.
Yeah.
Yes, watch,
I'm,
so,
and
here,
so
watch.
we're raising it the bare minimum.
Okay.
So if I were to build this house brand new, I say floodplain is at top of foundation. All my wood framing is out of floodplain, and if that means that it's 18 inches out because of whatever, that's the way I do it.
Yeah.
Because this is a framing system that's in poor shape that we're gonna sister, and then we're putting bigger beams below that, we're actually putting water in the floodplain, or wood in the floodplain. And I at first cringed at it, and our structural engineer said, I'm okay with it, except that wood has to be some serious pressure, some serious.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question? Are you gonna be wet proofing the bottom? So that way, if water does come in, it can actually go all the way
It's on
through?
Pear, so.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So
So it'd
that,
be a wet
those,
proof method.
and the B, is this a square edged or tongue and groove or what? Your skirt?
Something with space.
There's space, so it's square edge.
Okay.
I think I've noted square edge with it.
Sorry, I just don't have
Quarter
time to
inch.
look at the drawings with
I think
it.
I
Okay.
noted it was.
Are you guys comfortable with, the height without viewing, or
Yes,
do we need more additional information?
I think behind the houses that it's at
Okay.
and where it is.
And subject,
Being
I
that
just,
it's not historic either.
No, it's not.
In 2000?
Given
mean,
the
it's
houses
TGI,
that
so-
were approved in
But-
Consu, this is nothing.
but in context,
But-
it's important.
But in context is important, and then this is exactly why we're going through Resilient Nantucket in the next few months.
So I think we
starting
are
this month.
also in agreement that the, John, do you have further comments?
Yes, you're going from 2 feet to 4 feet, raising this up.
Yeah,
I'd like to know what the requirement is.
yeah, that's a
Double
good,
standard.
that's a good question. So what we've been told is that this is the minimum increase, and what we're gonna ask, I think we're in agreement that we're gonna require a surveyor certification that this 2-foot increase of the height of the finished floor is the minimum. But reference that, but also include the sea level metric. So we know what it is, if it's.
Yeah.
Right,
if it's-
well, it's elevation, like, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
like
so
our elevation is
right.
above sea.
Grade is elevation
Right.
6 and finished floor is elevation.
Yep,
If you look at these plans, you'll see that there's a skylight on each roof, which is one per roof length.
mm-hmm,
But this one here sets it up, you usually tell them move, so you don't have a see-through effect. And that's what this has got right here, that people can see it. You might say, why couldn't I do that, you know?
well, yeah, they'd have to come back and show us when it was approved, because it's existing.
Okay, I'm just going.
So is there a motion to approve subject to surveyor certification
Yes, I'll make
with
that motion.
reference elevations?
Yep.
Aye.
As the minimum increase is 2 feet?
I mean, yes, I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Aye.
aye, John?
Aye.
Aye, okay. I'm actually gonna abstain, just because I didn't want to ask for cross sections and stuff. this
Will
point.
you write that comment that you just
Yes.
said that I was supposedly saying? That I did say?
Actually, can you hold it for, just so I can, let's see, so we've got
All right, thanks.
Brooke here.
Thanks, Ben.
That's close. All right, so I believe we're on, yell at me if I'm wrong, but I believe we need a motion to hold 17A Washington Street,
Hold what?
number 12, hold for representation, and we're gonna go to 1 Maxi Pond, number 13, Lily Moore.
I have to recuse from this one.
That's how it is, huh? Good. Tough to follow you.
Okay.
I snuck in front of Brooks, he's back, so.
Oh, that's all right. You were here waiting. And if you give full name for the record for Terry on the tape.
Elizabeth O'Rourke.
Elizabeth O'Rourke, what? No, that one we approved. He's gonna send the letter in through staff.
Yeah, you mentioned getting the,
Yeah, he's not gonna get an approval unless he turns in that letter. All right, Elizabeth, if you would be so kind to walk us through the site plan.
Yeah, I brought some pictures. I brought some pictures, John. Jesse.
I was thinking the same thing. Last minute stuff.
Okay, so we're proposing a fence here. It's on the inside of this huge row of Lelandy cypress that are like 20 feet tall.
Trying to get it smaller. Why is it doing that?
And it's kind of scary to see
You have to click
drawing like that big.
Click on it, yeah. I don't know why it's doing it.
If you hold down the control button and use
Yeah,
the
you're
scroll,
right.
it might work.
Yep. Yeah, no, but I'm trying to get it.
Just try control scroll without trying, but move your, there you go. There you go.
Yep, thank you.
Oh,
No, well, it's not the blurry part. I'm trying to make it so it
You
fits.
can just look at the plan anyways, it's in front of you.
yeah. Well, we're kind of
Okay.
establishing a process, so,
Yeah, it's slow, but we're slow.
but we're having some problems, so
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
middle.
go ahead, Elizabeth, where you left off.
okay, so the fence is here, the Lelandy hedge is here, it's existing. I provided you with a photo of the hedge. If you from Medicat Road. The parking is existing, we just wanna add a little trim of Belgian block around it. The retaining wall is existing here, you see it on the photo. We wanna straighten it out. We wanna add this little patio here, so you can, have a place to sit and look at the sunset. This trim of stone is at grade, is just delineate, lawn path. So you won't see it from anywhere, because it's, again, if you look at the pictures I gave you, you can see it. This patio is back here already. And I think that's it.
Okay, any questions, John?
Not at the moment, I'm looking at this.
All right. Joss, any questions?
What's the height of the fence?
We'd like to, 5'10".
Plus, when you say plus or minus 24, is that the elevate? You just check the elevation changes that?
I think it was the contours. The fence would be put at the grade.
Right.
where it
Okay.
is. And it's really to mitigate sound because Medicat Road is so loud.
Yeah.
24 feet away. But the height of the fence?
Would be like, we want, kind of like just under 6 feet.
Okay, is it on the plan?
Yeah, it's on the plan, it's outlined in blue.
No, the notation of a 6 foot fence.
There's a detail in the bottom corner.
Okay, sorry, I haven't had a chance to look at the drawing. Got it. Right, time, thank you. John, questions or comments at this point?
I went out and looked at this, on Medicat Road, you look in, you can see this side and this side of the house, because the trees are trimmed up
Yeah.
high, plus there's some pine mixed in, but it's basically visible, right from the road.
Okay, and any concerns with the fence?
What kind of fence?
Here. Here.
5 foot 10,
On the inside of the hedge,
I realize that. Those are my comments, you're gonna see it, part of it, so.
And did you say this is trimmed up?
well, they're not trimmed up. I mean,
Deer
this is-
trimmed or
Deer trimmed?
well, I think if there's a few properties. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but yeah, you can see the trunks are pretty big, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and so they're kind of starting to get almost too big,
Right.
and so you can see underneath them.
Gotcha.
But you wouldn't see the height necessarily.
Right,
You
it
wouldn't see
would,
the
and
bottom.
the fence would kind of feel recessed, like, because it wouldn't be right on the road, it would be behind those big trees, so,
Okay.
it gives it a break.
Do you have a photo? from the
I
road?
gave you a bunch, yeah?
Oh, that's one. That's in,
That's,
you have to enter the property from the side road.
yeah, from Maxi Pond, yep.
Jess, any concerns?
I mean, it's that perpetuity thing. You're not gonna see anything now, but I'm concerned down the road, whether trees come down or the branches come up anymore, you're gonna have a 6-foot fence along Matticat Road.
So maybe we could add, a few bayberries on the outside
Yeah,
of it, just to
something,
kind of
fill it
mitigate that a
Yeah.
little bit, so that,
perfect, I love that.
So maybe screening every
No.
third section?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just to
maybe,
fill the
maybe,
holes.
maybe adding like, a certain amount of bayberry.
Yeah.
We could kind of keep it loose, so it doesn't look like another row of something, but just to,
Yeah.
minimize the visual impact.
Okay. John? Good?
I would prefer us to hold this until we get a better landscaping plan to cover some of this, because this is visible. This here, just right, you might be standing right here to see this. It's all under here, you'll have wide enough photo to show
John.
what's there.
Elizabeth just suggested adding more plants to help screen your concern.
Okay, we should have a plan before we
Okay.
move it.
Could you mark it?
Yeah, would
Maybe
you
we
mind
could do
marking
via
up some
exhibit.
additional
Alright,
vegetation? He's
Maybe-
gonna mark up some additional
Maybe,
vegetation.
maybe it's just like something of 45 to 50 bayberry on the outside.
Yeah, the pictures way back the road.
I mean, I was thinking a grouping of like 5 or 6 every third section. Is enough.
Yeah,
Just
I
to
mean,
break up the straight line. It doesn't
Perfect.
have to be
Perfect.
a whole row of,
Yeah.
clumps.
Yeah, that's it.
So naturalized clumps.
yeah.
So we're gonna get a vote on that in a moment. It'll be, preferably a motion for Exhibit A, which shows clumping of bayberry or similar along the Matticat exposure of the fence.
How pretty is it, Jesse? How pretty is it?
What I did?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Yeah,
Jess, is that your motion?
yeah.
Okay, so subject to Exhibit A.
Yeah, so just fill empty areas with bayberry, approximately 40 to 50 plants.
For some screening in perpetuity of the fence.
Right. In perpetuity, yeah.
All right, John, did you hear that motion?
Yes.
And are you good with it?
Yes.
Okay, so that carries unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Jess, would you mind writing that in on the app?
On the drawing or on the app? Oh, app.
On the app, and then
Yeah.
just reference Exhibit A as an additional. Jesse will write in the conditions. All right, did we get a motion to take up, number 10, 23R Sanctity?
We can?
Yeah.
You recused on that one, right, Al? That last one?
Yes, because it's not.
Bill Oliver, welcome back.
Thank you.
Are you gonna take it, or,
Yeah, I think that that motion was made and carried unanimously due to a lack of dissent.
All right, so which one are we on now?
Number, we're on Brooks.
10.
Who made the motion? Failed it, I think,
For what?
to take this one up.
Yes.
Johnny?
All right, so, is there anything funky on the application section, the narrative? Straightforward? Looks like a lot of text.
It is a lot of text, but it's basically, if you scroll down to the site plan,
It's covered there.
it's a retaining wall. Basically, this building is, sorry.
The pointer.
You can use the pointer.
Jeez,
We have
how do I do
pictures?
that?
We're gonna put a little red, we're gonna get one with a little red tape on it.
Got, nope, the other one.
Okay. This is funny. So basically, this building right here
None?
sits.
Brooke, no pictures?
Why should I? Like, it's just on the ground. You can't see this.
Okay, let's get to, we'll comment on the lack of pictures and
All right.
chide Brooke on that in a moment. Let's
Okay.
please walk through the site
And
plan.
I will be I will be incredibly sorrowful
Contrite.
and contrite.
Okay, so again,
So this building right here, this is near the end of its construction phase, at least on the exterior. And the site is actually below the road grade by about 1.5 feet. So, you know, to keep the water from coming in off the road and down into the site, the retaining wall is being proposed that will not be visible from the road other than maybe the top of it, because what you'll see will be from the inside, you know, looking from the house out and around. So you'll be like walking up a step to the street.
okay. So the area that, of the new construction is sunken relative to the rest.
Exactly. It's actually sunken relative to this building too.
Okay.
So this yard is above that yard. And the neighbor, for what it's worth, has a 3-foot tall retaining wall all the way along this side,
Sorry, where's that point? Oh, there.
right there.
Okay, and then I have one question. You are, I believe you're showing along your northern elevation between the two properties, a row of privet existing?
Okay, so the privet is actually on the neighbor's yard, and you can see the root balls. So the retaining is going to be there to hold the privet in place from the neighbor's yard, for, you know, from dropping
Are
in.
you moving the privet?
No, because it's not ours to move.
So that begs the question, it just seems the way it's drawn is that they're in conflict with respect to where they can be.
Well, I'm not sure the surveyor got the location of the privet correctly.
Okay, so it's not something you anticipate you'll be removing the privet?
No.
Okay, just
no,
wanted-
that's not ours to remove.
The way it looks, it
Yep.
would be, okay.
Yep.
Jesse, any questions?
I don't think you're gonna see a whole lot of this. You look down the driveway, you might catch a little bit of it on the left side. You know, I mean, natural cap, and if New England fieldstone, if we wanted to get picky with the stone type, but it's not gonna be a whole lot you're gonna see.
Yeah, we've got PA
Pennsylvania
fieldstone,
fieldstone.
Pennsylvania fieldstone, flat, you know, the flat stack.
Yeah.
Already on the property, or?
Well, just as the spec with the blue.
Oh, as a spec.
Yeah,
Yeah,
blue
I'm
stone
okay
cap.
with that.
Okay.
And that's what the neighbor has too.
Yeah.
But that's up 3 feet, or way down,
Any comments on the Arbor Way?
which
Jess?
is right here.
Sorry, is there something other than the wall?
Yeah.
I don't think I had concerns on this one.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill, questions or comments?
No, I'm fine with it. I will just say, pictures would allay a lot of people's reservations, and they are required.
Yes.
I
But it
apologize
seems-
unreservedly.
You may have gotten this on consent.
Thank you. I was gonna
Okay.
say that.
John, anything?
No.
Okay, so I'd like to, just for the sake of clarity, if we could get a motion that this is submitted as approved subject, approved as submitted subject to
Were there
the
comments
privet
though?
on the north.
Oh, wait.
No, it just says new construction, only front bungalows contributing.
And then did the advisory board?
No,
Oh, they
there's no
didn't. Okay,
quorum,
I
nobody
didn't
there.
know. Okay, you're good.
Where is it? What number?
This is number,
Because this was all one property at one point,
10.
so I was looking at it going, what?
so can we get a motion to approve as submitted, subject to the privet along the northern property line remaining intact?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries unanimously.
Chairman, you just showed that I'm voting with the chairman.
Okay, John voted with the acting chairman.
Northern.
Thank
Does
you.
that mean you're acting as the chairman? or-
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the best
on
man.
TV.
Yeah, I slept at a Holiday Inn. So we're up next to Botticelli and Paul. Ray, you're gonna have to, it's not.
He's recusing.
So numbers 14 and 15. We're gonna go with 19E Tristan Ave, demo, move, renovation.
I better make sure I don't leave with your pointer.
No, that's the one below it. This is revisions, move on lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
No, this is Eel Point Road,
Okay.
so it's by the house with the windmill. You guys approved the new construction 4 or 5 months ago, so we're coming back with a relocation We originally thought we were gonna have to keep the current septic system, but we don't need to, and we'd like to move it further away from the road.
So actually, Lisa, I'm sorry, now that we have John's full attention,
Yeah.
almost. John, sell your bike later. Let's go.
Motorcycle bike?
He's trying to sell a Schwinn. He got it to take it or leave it.
That
I'm just
might be
teasing.
my bike.
Okay, please start again.
Okay, so the house, is this the pointer? How do I do
Yep.
this? So,
Button closest to you.
Nope, turn around. Button closest to you then.
okay,
Yep.
so the house was originally approved further back because we were thinking we had to use the existing septic system. That was back when we thought we were gonna have to try to get a building permit by January 1st. Now that we don't need to do that and we're redesigning the system, we've decided to move it a little bit further north to get it further away from the road and, just a little bit, not quite so close to the neighbor. So that's the major siding revision. And then there's some other massing revisions.
Okay.
So on the front, we revised the fenestration on the front dormer. I think those, we added exterior stair at the front with a railing. The main massing change was this change. To give a little bit more balance to the house, we felt like having a gambrel mass on this side really helped balance the building a little bit more, so that this wing on the right didn't look quite so long.
Okay.
And then we changed the mudroom to a porch.
Oh, wow.
Lots of glass, but again, I think the visibility, we added one more set of French doors basically along the back. That was really the only change. It went from 4 before along here on the bottom to 5. But I think if you look at the site plan and the visibility of how far back it's set from the beach, you really won't see the back side of this house, I don't believe.
Okay. That was the last elevation. Any questions on the siding or elevations before we get started? Just a little more complex, so let's clear. Okay, no questions. John, do you have questions, or you're gonna measure decks?
Measure.
Okay. Val, would you like to start? No? Or
Yeah.
you don't know where to start?
Yeah.
No offense.
Um,
I'm just seeing her do, Go ahead.
I actually appreciate the changes on the south. I think it's simpler, less, almost less modern looking with the changes. Because it's as far off the road as it is, I don't have any concerns necessarily with the basement stair being on the front of the house, but you'll probably have that screened by some sort of planting anyway.
Yeah.
I do like the changes in the massing, actually, as well. And I see that it's just a minor addition of a door under there, so if it passed the way it is based on lack of visibility, I don't think one more door is gonna make a difference on the north. I am fine.
We did add the deck too, in the center.
Yeah, it's all right.
But again, I think when you look at the distance off the road and the incline, he actually has a stone revetment that he has to, kind of climb down, so it's not like there's beach in front of him. You can see the beach shack from Dionis Beach, but I think seeing the house is really,
Oh yeah,
it's
that
at
was
such a
the
distance.
historic thing, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
beach house?
It
Yeah.
used to go with the house with the windmill, the beach
Yeah.
house.
Jesse?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would agree. I appreciate it being moved back, but not too far back where you could see this massive fenestration from anywhere. If there was a concern, it would, I think a view would probably relieve that, but, like you said, it was previously approved, and they're not adding much more. It's, again, massive fenestration, but not really viewable from anywhere.
John?
Yes, I'm looking at the first floor. Show on the computer. There's 78 feet length and 52 feet is under the 78, so That's fine.
Is that the deck?
This right here,
Oh, that's the 3 decks kind of staggered.
right, but the question is, where it is, can't be more than 8 feet from the wall. And it is here, 8 feet, 8 feet.
Yeah.
8 feet. It's not that 8 feet.
They each are 8 feet, but together they read.
On the second floor plan, it's not there.
Lisa, are they connected or not?
No, they're not
So
connected.
John, those aren't connected,
They don't have to be.
but are they 8 feet each?
I'm sorry?
I think they're 8 feet individually, like on this. See?
This one here,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was find out.
You can double check. I can reduce them to 8.
Okay, this one here. Basically, to that wall is 9 feet. This one to that wall, 9 feet.
They're probably each 9, yeah.
And now there's a third one in there, I'm trying to pick it up.
Yeah, see, John, if you look at the site plan, you're
Yeah.
seeing all 3 of these in a row.
Okay. And this is the biggest, this is 9, they're all 9 feet, so you gotta move a foot on all of them to make it 8 foot. That's all.
That's your only,
Mhm.
okay. Lisa, would you mind just walk me through the site plan, because I'm having difficulty following through here.
Okay, so
Just 1 second, I'm sorry, 24.
the red line was the previously approved location. The black dotted line is the existing house that's being demolished. So we shifted from the red line,
Seriously?
sorry.
Which, I get where I'm going with this, I'm trying to read your topo lines, and I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
catching numbers through the house. What's your finished floor currently, and what is it? Is it shifting?
Oh, it's gonna match the existing house, which I don't know off the top of my head. Too bad Elizabeth isn't here, because it's matching the house, wherever the current house is.
So the rear was 25, the
78 by.
26.2, I think, was or 28 point, you know what, I might have it on my phone, hang on just a second, just because she sent me an email,
Might be 26 or 27.
yeah.
Well, the rightmost coming out off the corner of the new location is 25. And then I'm just having a tough time picking up where these are going.
Well, I didn't, yeah, I don't know that we showed any topo before. Let's see.
So it looks like that's 24. And that's 24.
It just falls off to the west.
Yeah, it's gonna fall off to the west, we're gonna try to get a little bit more of exposure there.
Okay. I'm not gonna hold it up on that. I don't have enough information on the height. So, are there any other comments?
No.
Okay, do you hear a motion? Oh, one other comment.
This here, it's 100 feet this way, and 35 feet this way, so that makes it 3,500 square feet.
Okay, you good with that?
What was that?
Yeah.
So the deck, the railing railings to 8 feet from the house, I think is the only, condition.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, with the 9 feet, but,
Okay,
Me too.
so motion to approve is submitted.
okay. John, your motion? You good?
Yeah.
Are you approve? Okay, so, 3 in favor, I abstain just on the, not being clear on the height.
That's provided, take a foot off each one.
Pardon me? All right, so now we're gonna go on to number 1588 Quidnet, demo, move, reno, addition.
And I can present this, you guys might wanna take a view, so I might not wanna take comment, I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's,
You guys looked at that. Oh,
are there,
it needs a view.
It was on the page.
So this is what, the 88? 88. Yeah, make sure he gets that information. Yeah, let's do it. Now,
Is this on the view?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did
And
you
there's
guys
staff
view?
comments, even though it doesn't go to a commission or advisory board.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't we just do this? Has anyone not viewed this property? I have not been able to.
I didn't either, but
Jess?
sorry.
John?
No, nobody?
Did you view it?
It was on the
You
view
did,
list.
okay.
You want me to just walk you through what we're doing?
Yeah, so what,
So you know, all this is meant right here, from the equipment,
Couldn't it?
my grandfather owned it, sold it.
Oh, really?
So that means he won't
Sorry.
sit on it.
I know, that broke my heart.
okay, so what we're gonna do with this one, guys and gals, is Lisa's just gonna walk us through it, but we're gonna hold it for review after she gives us some context. And I'll read, at least I'll read the comments, the brief comments from HF, so when we go to view, we have that.
Okay.
Just staff.
Just staff. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so this building is, are the photos in there, Kathy?
So just one photo.
There's one photo on the drawing. So this house is, an older house. There's a 1900s, 1910s, house. It's definitely an older building. You can see by the existing picture though, hold on, this one down here. See how high the the roof used to be? And now, as compared to what it looks like now? At one point, if you look at the floor plan, they actually they extended, where's my pointer? I lost it. They extended this roof down to this point and added a new exterior wall. So what we're proposing to do is remove that, get the height kind of back to what it looked like before. And then there's a maximum ground coverage of 1,500 square feet of kind of, retaining the old part of the building and then adding a new addition to the south.
Okay.
So it's a pretty significant renovation, obviously, to the structure, but trying to bring the older part of the structure kind of back to its original appearance, other than this kind of unusual hipped roof, which we did remove.
Okay.
And you can sort of see it a little bit better in the
Been in this. Like
in the
20
floor
years ago.
plan, sort of maybe where the original building ended and where that porch was. But you see how the windows got very squatty at some point. They pulled that roof down, added a whole nother porch, and then created this very strange roof onto a shed that existed, what you see on this side. Oops.
Okay.
So it currently has 3 bedrooms. They're all, one on the first floor, one on the second floor, one in the basement. That's how it's designed. The center space is remaining a cathedral. So the idea was to, given the lack of the ability for the ground coverage, was to get some second floor space without trying to blow off the roof of the main part and get a second floor above that.
Okay.
And try to retain that old character in that space.
All right, anything on the other elevations, or did you?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, you can look at them. I mean, the main
Are we
thing on,
not saying anything today?
I was just thinking we're gonna do a view, so we might as well wait. If you guys want to comment, you can. If we're gonna comment later, we might as well wait.
yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to comment. I mean, the back is the most significant change in terms of this new addition. This is the existing kitchen. What we're trying to do is, because we're so tight on ground coverage, lot lines, we're already over both, the building exists over both setbacks, so we don't have the ability to really lengthen the house. So going down makes sense, but because we can't really have a window well due to Concom, we just sort of decided to roll the grade down. The grade is very, you can see it actually, it goes from high up there all the way down to, this elevation here kind of existing to the neighbors. So, but we're forming it a little bit more to get those basement windows for that bedroom.
Okay, so I guess, why don't we do this? If you have any burning concerns, why don't we voice them now, and then we'll motion for review.
Okay. Just initially, because I did look at it when we got it sent in our packet, I think that the renovations sort of consume the house. I appreciate trying to keep the original, I guess, would have been the main mass And more than any other side, it's the east that I think is just, it's too much. For instance, there's the dormer with the little 3 lights, that's over a cathedral ceiling in the living room. I think, let's try to keep some of this as simple as possible.
Okay.
And I don't think you need that. I will view for the visibility of that side. I think that the north does sort of give a nod to the historic part of the house, or what its former shape was. I think it's mostly the east, and then on the west, the addition with the door confuses me as to what is the main mass of this house.
You mean because of the mudroom door facing west also?
Is that the mudroom door?
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be the main entrance, but I mean, you could
It
use.
just competes to me with the historic facade, that's all.
The door itself or the mass?
Well, the mass somewhat, but the 2 doors.
Facing the same direction.
Can I get a clarification on that before you continue, Val?
Yeah.
Lisa, is the mass, how much further back is the secondary entry from the main entry? That's not showing up in 2D. I don't have the plan to look at.
You mean?
Oh, here.
No, it's okay.
The main entry, if you're calling the main entry the one in the main mass, the secondary entrance is actually forward of it by, let me just guess, because I don't have a scale. I would say for 8-10 feet.
Yeah.
So can you point to your main entry?
The historic
The
entry
historic
is right
entry is
where
this,
she's
but I'm not so
circling.
sure that needs to be the main entry, so to speak.
What, the main entry that you're gonna be
Using?
developing, using, and landscaping too?
Probably this, because it's the mud room, it has the powder room.
Okay, so now I have an understanding, and Val, your point is that they need to be differentiated enough that one of them is clearly the primary.
Well, I mean, we're making an argument, or they're making an argument that they're, keeping this house that was there, and it, I don't know.
So you'd rather not see another door on that elevation?
I would rather
Potentially.
not see another door. I don't think, but I don't know.
Okay.
Jesse?
Yeah, I think
Concerns?
reviewing will help. But a lot of Val's comments were good. With the height is 23, that's not that bad, but what is that in contrast to other houses in the neighborhood when it has a lot of small cottages from?
I think a view will help because I don't have any contact
It's 26 on one side.
Yeah.
23 on the west elevation.
26 when you get to
It's
this.
not the height as much
Onto
for
the
me,
back.
it's just the simplicity of it.
I'm trying, this is pretty old house and trying to bring, and it's a quirky old house. There's not a lot that really, I don't know, to go with it, but overall I think the design is nice, and I'm just gonna go by elevations. West elevation is I think it's it complements the old mass. Not sure if shutters are. I like the shutters. It reminds me of Quinlan, but there are no shutters on the existing building, so. But I think that's really not a big deal. I think the north elevation is, I like how you're keeping the silhouette of that main mass, even though there's a bigger mass behind it. And that's, and really it's the east elevation that is got a lot going on, and how viewable that is a question. I think Val's idea, if that dormer is only giving light to a big room, that would probably be a good compromise. And I'm not too sure how tricky it will be. Again, not that big of a deal, but if you kept that entrance to the back to the same entrance as it was.
The problem with that is the Concom.
Okay, the steps.
The steps.
Okay.
If you look at the site plan, you'll see the dotted line that shows the 50.
And I mean, just from a material type or what have you, I'm looking at, you know, the skirt, and what do we have, what kind of skirt, if any, was there on the old building?
Well, you can see that it had a more typical sort of skirt board just around the decking, then it had the groove below.
What about the
So
photos?
Here.
We've got,
Yeah,
Are we trying to
we could
match
probably
that,
put
or-
that back. I think we're just trying to
You know,
simplify.
anywhere where it's not a big, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and
Mhm.
that could add a little bit of the old character of the building back into this new one.
Right.
Anything else? That's it. Thank you. John?
Look at the last page too, that tells you
Comments at
what's
this
staying
time?
and
I
what's
think
going.
most of the kitchen in the neighborhood, whatever's there.
yeah.
Okay. So, would you mind,
Can I just point out something to Val just about the last page?
Yeah,
Just this red section in the front was the section that got, this whole section was the section that I was referring to that got added at some point, and that's why the roof ended up coming so much further down if you go back to the first elevations. You know, historically, that elevation had a lot of shingle above the windows. And then at some point, they extended that roof down and ended up with the windows kind of being tucked under that, much lower. So we're taking off that entire section, kind of restoring it back to the historic elevation that you see in the photograph down here. I can't find this pointer.
Yeah, like that roof line.
See what I mean?
Even.
And that's why there's so much red on the front, because all of that stuff got added later. The stuff in the back is the shed, which is those little masses we're definitely wanting to take off because
and
they're,
you're removing the fireplace.
yes.
Holly, can you scroll down just a tiny bit more? Okay,
Jumping.
so that's all.
Which elevation?
I know it's on top of this.
Which elevation?
The one you were on, I was just curious.
One page up,
Yeah, one page up.
right there.
Okay. Did you get your question answered?
Well, she didn't have a question, I was just making the point.
Noting, I mean, realistically, there's this wall, and that wall is really all, or I guess that, right, because that's a porch.
That's a porch.
So I'm having difficulty, so that was where I was going first with the, after I did elevations was the demo first floor plan. Let's please look at the elevations first. Is the west, I think it's charming, there's a lot of equipment elements. However, my concern is that there's not a lot of the silhouette from the original historic structure, at least with respect to some of the hip element or the extended plane on the roof. Like, so for instance, your bump out, there's just not a lot that says similarity except for the 2/2 and the proportions. The south elevation without a view is concerning with respect to the height and the massing overall. And the next sheet, please. The same with the east.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the north is, I mean, again, this is without a view, is this most successful with picking up the silhouette and echoing elements and bringing them forward. And I think that is successful, but again, that's subject to the overall mass and having a
Right.
view. And then would you mind going to the demo sheet, please?
What last sheet?
Last sheet.
Purple or red, green. and-
Zoom in.
So I like how you did red,
Yeah, this.
orange, and, you know, like stoplight colors almost.
Hmm.
Can
Yeah.
you, I'm just a
So
little.
this is the section from here up that got added on. So you see that heavy dotted line?
Yeah.
That's a beam. That used to be the exterior wall of the building.
Right. So the red is actually just gonna be gone completely?
Gone.
So the footprint will be the green and the orange?
Well, then our
Wow.
addition gets added.
Okay, so what I would like to ask for in addition to the viewing is if you could do an overlay with dash line of the structure to show it in relation to the existing.
You mean just the perimeter of the structure?
Yeah, the proposed
Yeah.
footprint.
Yep,
So
I can
add
do
the
that.
footprint, and then, if we,
The only thing we'll be slightly confused is I'm gonna add it where it is on the as-built, but it's all proposed to be moved out of the wetland setback. But
Well, if
anyway,
you-
it doesn't matter.
yeah, if you could just
Yeah.
add it relative to the
To that.
structure, not
Yep.
relative to the site.
I
and
can
then
do
you
that.
Make a note that it's, and then I would just ask that we include that in the view packet, and if it's not already in it, the imagery of the existing that was supplemental.
This stuff?
That stuff that she provided.
Yeah, can we
Was
include
it
that?
scanned?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's
Can you
scanned.
email that in? so
Yeah,
we
I'll
can
have
pull it?
Tammy email that tomorrow to you, so you have
Yeah,
it.
So
if you can email it all together with your revisions.
I don't think, the only revision I'm asking for at this
Okay.
point is an
That plan.
overlay of the,
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Because we're gonna view it.
Whatever is
Right.
easier, Lisa.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
does that
there's-
help you too, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's sort of here where there's the red line.
Yeah, I'd just like to see it with respect to
I
the.
got
And I just, when you view, I mean, I obviously, you know, this is, I do think, given the lot, that it is, you know, rather than coming in and asking to completely demo it and put a second story across the whole thing and get 4 bedrooms, or whatever, you know, a bigger house, I
Sure,
think.
and a
it-
view may change perspectives too.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the overall size, because there are some bigger houses out
You'll see
there.
the
It's
one to
just
the-
that
yeah.
This is more, I just think maybe some areas simpler, like
Yeah.
triple
No,
in the dormer and.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, and I do wanna not, neglect
Oh, right.
to get the, Scout Advisory Board's comments.
Nope,
Sorry to
just
pull-
me. Just me.
Oh, Holly's, Sconset was no forum.
Doesn't go
We're
to
gonna have this
Sconset.
on the agenda next week as far as that goes.
Oh, it's on a SAB form.
Yeah.
That's for Quidnet, sorry.
Sorry.
So 2-story addition out of scale for historic Quidnet. Too many windows on east elevation, basement windows are out of place. So register those comments, take your view, we'll return to.
As well as the attached that's with it is about the old Quidnet. And their highlighted sections within that is about this house.
So will you include that in the view pack?
Yes,
'Cause, I
absolutely.
mean,
Can
it's a
we-
historic structure, we'll have a chance to review it.
Yep.
In its whole. I don't know that, it's gonna figure it out. when
And
we
is
do
that something that's online too, or can I get Tammy to get a copy of that?
I
you
can email it to Tammy.
That'd be great if you can email that to Tammy.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so a motion for additional information prior to the view and then a view,
A view, a room with a view.
a view with a view.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay, that carries unanimously, no dissent. We're gonna do a view. They're gonna include,
Signed it.
this is Holly, they're gonna
That's
include
me.
this in the view pack. Okay?
On a sidebar, we're putting this for next week as far as including old Quidnet within a review for an advisory board, so it's not
Okay.
just staff.
Okay, that
That's
would be
where I was
wonderful.
alluding to.
Thank you.
Whether it's HSAB or Sconset, that'll be up to you all to decide.
Okay, so now we're gonna take up, let's see, who do we have here?
Nancy.
Nancy, Structures Unlimited. Who? 11 Davis Lane.
11 Davis Lane is out in Cisco, one of the original, I guess, what they called Cisco Estates. We'd like to move it from that particular spot to 3 Miller Way, which is over by the airport.
Modern history, Nancy.
So here,
Okay.
it fits into that coloring of that area of evergreen, which is kind of cedary. This piece here, we're gonna have to cut it in half to move it, so this piece here holds a staircase. I think that's going to go away, and there'll be some other change that we'll have to come to that down the
Oh,
road.
I just had it.
You did,
Yeah.
So this is the move off.
move off, and then it's going
From 3
over
Miller.
to Miller, which is the corner lot on, it's hard to see this thing because of all the cedar trees, but I did include a plan that was in the file. I
Well,
made
this
a-
is just the move off
Right,
right
so it
now.
wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Right.
so, let's see, Val, any questions? Or let's just do questions and comments.
Can you
Done.
look at all of them?
Not
at
to
once?
seeing it go, I suspect it's 80s vintage.
Yeah, I
It's
kinda,
just the beginning of the end of Cisco is all. It's just
Yep.
gonna be compounds from now on.
yeah, but they're already doing it out
Yeah.
there.
Jesse, questions, comments,
I
concerns?
think the person following me is going to show you what it could be.
No, not at this time.
Okay. John, do you have any, on the move off?
It's not on here.
Yes, and move up.
It's just a move off, it's not a move off to a particular place.
It's the same thing.
It's just, we're
Yeah, look, they're
We're
the same exact.
looking at a
ones.
move off.
Okay.
Didn't scan the,
Have you seen
I don't know.
it? It's not visible from the
What was
trees.
scanned.
Well, they're moving it off, so the trees are gonna
I
be
haven't
gone.
looked on.
Have you
Oh,
seen photos?
well, unfortunately,
Oh,
how
right,
it was
okay.
uploaded is the same.
Yeah.
There is a
Yeah.
plan there.
It's the same one,
So, on the move off,
it just has a different locus map.
Motion to approve the move off.
just move off, okay.
Jessica,
Yes, you good?
Yeah.
John? All right, so
It's
that
the
carries
same thing.
unanimously, no dissent. Number 1611 Davis Lane.
No, it would be the move on.
Seriously?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Hang on a
Nance, the
second.
thing about Miller's Lane is there's really no context yet.
3 Miller's Lane, move on from 11 Davis.
Cause they are just developing that sort of right now.
Right.
Well, this is the corner lot that really faces that little aisle section. And
Yeah.
And it back, it's
the
across the
same
street is the Nantucket Hotel, the back end of it.
This was a,
And next to, there's a sort of a barn over there that belongs to the Holgates on the other side. So actually, the area we're sending it to would be pretty well developed back there.
Okay, I just want to say, maybe, I think for the benefit of the group, we need to get a site plan showing the location specifically, scale drawings of the site plan. And we don't need elevations, I don't believe, but we do need to, the site plan will show us with some dimensions from at least 2 property lines the location. It will also show us the orientation.
Driveway.
I don't think we have enough information to make a decision.
Maybe a driveway.
At a driveway. No.
Whatever.
I don't think there's any opposition, Nancy, we just need some more information.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
okay, we can put that together.
John, we're gonna ask for a site plan that shows where, what's going and how.
Looking for hold for site plan?
Yeah. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion to hold for a site plan.
Okay. That carries unanimously, no dissents.
Thank you very much.
Did I send the right one? Is that the move on?
that was the move on.
Move off, and this is.
The move off you guys approved, the move on you have.
Right, but I'm just saying that, is that?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
move on?
that's the
Okay,
right
just
one.
want
Yeah,
to make sure.
gotcha.
Okay, we're gonna do, we just
We'll
did
get
number
Trish to review
17.
this because this is the one that we did
Yeah,
last
that's the
minute.
one that's moving back.
What do we do with 16?
So we're at 18, Matt, 11 Davis Lane.
What are we doing first? New dwelling.
And Matt, you've got a group of them.
Let's see.
Oh, that's
a
the
spot.
pointer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's fine. Appreciate
You
your
can use it.
consideration. Linda
New dwelling.
Lewis. Sweet. There were, some of them. Oh, Mark's here.
Where's this?
People are just gonna dribble in and be here all night.
I think they were waiting to see how things went. All right, Matt, if you would please walk us through your site plan. I think at this point, let's go back to any questions on the site plan. We'll ask them and then we'll move to elevations.
Okay.
He's gonna do the site plan. If you have any questions, we're gonna ask him before he moves on. Okay?
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, you just saw the house that was proposed to be moved or demolished. So this is a proposal for a new dwelling. We're limited on square footage, so it's, it's not actually a huge footprint. Basically, the house, the primary dwelling is oriented towards, it fronts on Davis Lane. Gable forward structure, that's the primary dwelling. We do have a proposed zoning shed in this back corner here. This is generally going to be the parking layout. Mudroom primary access is over here. Front door is on this facade here. We've got a proposed pool and a kind of a cabana structure, if you will, in this zone here. It's kind of disappearing on me there, but you can see it. That portion of the structure is the ground cover, but it's actually a larger structure. The roof structure is a little bit larger. It actually is kind of closer to that patio area footprint, which is a subsequent application. The idea is that there'll be some type of vegetation along the facade here. I think the battery's going on this guy here. So the idea is to try and provide as much screening as we can of this backyard area. Like I said, this is the allowable ground cover. It's not a lot. And, Val, to your point, I think that Cisco is changing. The good news is, I think, is that the zoning is such that you can't really build these, incredibly, you can't build a lot of ground cover, which I think is good. I think this site plan actually demonstrates that there's quite a bit of yard space in the back here. So primary dwelling, zoning shed, pool, and a small little structure, if you will, for a half bath.
Okay, great. Jesse, any questions on the site plan?
Nope.
Dale? John, questions on the site plan? None? Good. Matt, you could walk us through the elevations.
Sure. Okay. This one's great. This is the facade of the structure. Again, we went with a 1.5-story building. We've got some flying rakes, square cut rakes. It's white trim, white sash, along with a 2/2 window style, which is, I think, conducive to the area. We've got our primary mass up here, and then primary mass over here, and the massing steps down. Again, I think that our footprint is roughly 1,500 square feet, somewhere in that range.
Everybody's is, I think.
Yeah, so it's not a huge footprint, and we tried to make some massing edits and changes as we transition from the front to the back. The facade, we did put a gable forward. Small pent roof, not really pent roof, but gable roof to more clearly identify the facade. You do have second floor water views, so we do have a few decks on the building. But again, the east elevation is the facade. I think that works fairly well. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. We've got some pergolas, some wraparound decks. And so a lot of the secondary additive pieces, if you will, are typically in the form of secondary additive masses like this gable and wraparound porches and decks to drop the scale. And they're also functional as well. Tried to be somewhat simple with our fenestration. Again, you've got some really beautiful views and some great southern exposure, specifically in the south elevation, so we want to try and capture that. We tried not to over fenestrate though in some of the portions that are closer to the road. Rear elevation, side elevation, pretty straightforward. Try not to be too complicated. Try to keep the massing fairly simple. So with that, look forward to hearing what the board has to say, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Great. Anybody would like to start? All right, I'll just throw in a comment while we're waiting. Matt, I think overall the design, we've done a great job with respect. Well, we've done a great job in a variety of ways, but my only I'm not certain it's a concern yet, but the height of your doors are 7'9", so then your windows, basically what we've done is you've used your fenestration to mask the overall size, but it's done in a way that appears tasteful to me in 2-dimension, which is why I say I'm not certain I'm concerned yet, because it's the 3-dimensional that's going to make a difference. Anyways, that's a general comment before anyone else is ready, I guess.
What are the colors?
Just forecasted.
White trim, white sash. We do have cottage corners.
Jess?
There's nothing really jumping out at me, too much. I mean, I get it, there's a lot of balconies, but I get it, they're not jumping out because they're a shingle wall. On the south elevation, yeah, on that main gable mass, the fenestration seems, it's good, it matches everything else. I'm looking for something, but I can't find it. So there was one thing that I had a question on, and that would be on the north elevation. I think that west elevation is nice. The gables and the distance of the windows on those gables, is there some interior layout or something that's affecting that? Because it seemed like they're far apart from each other.
Jesse, I'm sorry, which elevation are
This
you
would
on?
be the north.
So the gables.
Oh, they're shed
Oh,
dormers?
yeah, so you mean there's a lot of space
Shingle in
Oh,
between.
between those two?
well into the edge,
Yeah, I
right?
think it's mostly beds on the second floor. You can see some bathrooms. We do have a little bit of flexibility in those dormers.
How big is the deck?
Maybe try tightening that up a little bit.
Yeah, we totally could. You know, the one thing, in most cases, the smaller ones in particular they are on bed walls, but we actually looked at adding a third window in the middle, and it actually kind of filled up the dormer nicely, but we didn't want to over fenestrate, so I could certainly look at that.
Yeah, I mean, if you made, yeah, okay, yeah. That's it for now.
John?
Yes, east elevation. On the left side, second floor, you gotta come back, because you're over 12 feet from the wall. Come back to 8 feet from the wall.
On the second floor deck or the first floor?
Nope.
You're talking about this, I'm sorry, the second floor decks?
Second floor deck, yeah.
Okay.
On the south elevation, on the right side, same thing, second floor deck is over 10 feet. West elevation, what is this configuration here?
That is an outdoor fireplace, John. So it's two posts
No,
in the middle, but it's basically, you can actually see it in this side view here. It's a projecting deck. This is the masonry mass, so it's an exterior, it's an outdoor fireplace. Chimney, yes, correct. Oh, there's no chimney? Yeah, no, because it's gas.
North elevation, second floor, there's 4 east windows. You have other, these are fixed, but these 4 here are listed as casement.
Yep.
I can fix that one to match the other ones.
Yeah, or maybe I could try to make them double hung.
Oh, yeah, on the east elevation, the front door, I guess,
Yeah.
you got a 6-inch pitch, 7 is minimum on the roof.
Do you mind if I, so we actually did like 7 different versions of that front entry with different pitches. We tried steeper, we tried shallower, we went the whole gamut, and so I can show you those. But we thought that this was the most successful. It's funny because the other 6 just looked off, but I'm happy to bring those into you. So just want you to know that we didn't just.
Everybody has a top.
Yeah. We tried a 12, looked too steep.
Okay, let's see, so, now, I think my primary only concern is I take John's comments on the deck. I think those should be addressed, second floor decks. Though I'd want to see it, it may look kind of funky proportionately. So I'd reserve the right to reverse myself if I may. The dormers, I would prefer to see, like, if you make changes, clearly is typically include the previously submitted, because I think it might quickly look over fenestrated.
Yeah.
And on your north elevation, I guess I'm just a little bit concerned that and I don't know what your site view is gonna be. This is existing vegetation or?
No, it's gonna be planted.
Okay, because the concern is that although you've done a nice job with breaking up the massing from the, what would be the front and the back, in terms of creating a sense of a primary and a secondary, that flush wall that continues past the porch, and then, is this flush also?
It's all flush.
Yeah,
So
on the north,
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. So I'd ask you to take a look at that, but I do recognize the fact that it will be oblique angle, and it may be as simple as just bringing that rear porch cheek in a little bit, 6 or 8 inches, or a foot. What do you think here? Because it's gonna be on, this whole thing is, if you look at the site plan, kind of on an angle to the road.
A little shadow there.
Or maybe throw us a perspective from the road. I mean, a lot of times that makes a big difference.
I can put it in the SketchUp, and we can put all the buildings on there, and I can take a couple of shots from the road, what we think will be visible. And we won't, just FYI, we won't be showing any vegetation, so
that's fine.
It'll look
I don't,
exposed.
I don't want to make a request for a change without a reason.
Okay.
Any other comments? What we got?
Me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You skipped her. I think
Bad chair.
the east is a nice silhouette. I think that the second floor, the very large number 7 door overwhelms the front door. So I'd like to see that reduced to perhaps a single. And the dormers in general, I think, need to snug in. You have a good example on your west of what we typically like to see in terms of a dormer. They just seem like the elements that are in the dormers are floating.
Okay.
And if there was any way to ungang something somewhere on the south, that would be appreciated. And
Gable mass.
what is that? A fireplace?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's a, yes.
Is it, is it gonna be shingled and cut in there, or what is it?
Parged, and it doesn't have a, we're gonna vent, it's gonna be a direct vent, so there's no chimney chase. So it's an outdoor.
Where's
So
that?
that's on your back.
Faces
West. From the west elevation?
Yeah. And I do share Steve's concern about the north. I think it's just one big line, which you've done a good job of breaking up with a porch and all that. But I think again that system of dormers, I don't necessarily mind the 4 lights. I think those fit over the porch. But do you need the 2 extra 4 lights on the dormer to the northwest? Is it that has the 2 in the middle and then the 2 little tiny windows
on the west
next to it?
The westernmost.
Okay, on the first floor or second floor?
Second.
floor.
No, she's on.
That fenestration.
I'm on north.
Oh, you're in the north. I'm sorry.
The rightmost dormer.
Go down.
Yeah.
The one with the 4.
Sure. Yeah, so we could probably, if you look at that bathroom layout, that's what the driver is. It's kind of a unique layout, and we've kind of gone back and forth with it. And we could omit the 2 4 lights that are over the 2 toilets. Which is definitely doable, but then it actually looked as if it was under fenestrated, to your point about the proportional ratio of wall to window area. So we can certainly revisit that, but that was the driver. We initially just had the double gang units in the middle, which sit where the
So you need that extra space to fit the toilets in?
Yes, yeah. And you don't, but I don't need the windows in the toilets, but
yeah, I think
it's
though
starting to
it's
look
gonna
weird.
look, it would be better if it was like the one right next to it. with the space in the middle.
Yeah.
That makes more sense to me than windows kind of smashed in the middle, and I just haven't ever seen that.
I can look at alternatives to that. I can focus on that. See if we can come up with something that's better looking.
Okay.
We kind of debated that map though.
And the porches are ginormous, but
You know, one of the reasons for that was that because it's kind of a small footprint and it was our way of trying to add some dimensions and presence to the structure.
so the only other request I would have is, I know there's a lot of white trim out there. I haven't been out in a while. Is there a lot of large white pergolas? Could the pergola?
The pergola is actually natural.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Just on color, can I jump in on that?
Yeah.
I think, Matt, where you might lose on that might revisit my concern about the fenestration has been successful in masking the height as a matter of scale. I think where you might start to lose that battle is with the white. So if there's a lighter color, like a silver gray or something, I'd ask you to consider that.
I can ask the client.
Okay. Are there any other comments or concerns? Matt's got plenty to work with. I mean, it's not huge.
Not a lot.
But there's stuff.
Mr.
Yeah, you may want to make that. John's made a motion for revisions.
The windows wider?
Yeah.
I think the windows need to fill up the dormers, or the dormers need to come in. That's a very common thing we ask for.
Instead of having
Like
thin
he has
windows,
on that side, that's perfect.
widen the windows. That was just my
You get
comment.
that?
Yeah. Which doors?
Oh, you mean make the windows wider overall?
Right, to make, because you guys
take
were
up some
talking
wall
about
space.
having too much space in between, but then having too much, and then too much fenestration. So why not widen the windows to see what that would do?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, the one we did actually think about that. If you look at the dormer on the right, this one, that kind of drove the width there, and then we could go wider on these, but then we'd have a discrepancy between these and these. So, but I could certainly look at that. And there's also the proportional relationship. It's funny how, like, 2 inches, 3 inches starts to change things, but could certainly look at that. I mean, it's good feedback we've been looking at for a while, so getting your perspective is helpful.
Okay, great. So on the motion for revisions?
Yeah. Who made it?
John, so that carries unanimously. Notice that. We're gonna take a 5-minute break.
I hope you don't mind.
Because we're gonna be here for a little bit.
Oops, what number are we on? Way off there.
5-minute break.
We'll be on 22, I
Well,
think.
we'll see if it works. It's hard, it's easier when we don't have everyone over there because they
19, 20,
crank their
21.
neck out trying to sit there.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that. Could just get like a mirror.
Anybody not aware of our original anti-kit, please take information about it. Hey, you know what? This has been a multiple year long thing.
So the rumor going around is, I've been working 8 weeks, 8 to 4 every Saturday to build the scenery for this musical. They might cancel it. There's no coronavirus here, but they're canceling all public events.
What? The school is?
So we
I
shouldn't
will
be
kill
meeting.
myself.
No.
The school or the town?
Nope.
Or is it one of the same?
Well, the superintendent's meeting with the health inspector tomorrow. That is so not fair.
I just got.
Could they postpone it or no?
So it's
We
happening.
can't keep all that stuff on I mean, they actually, I am like apoplectic about the whole thing. I can't even stand it. I could just die.
That sounds very.
We have 8 major pieces that are double-sided that have taken so long to get to this point. The kids are ready. Right after this is
There's no
over, they
coronavirus.
throw you out and they have something else scheduled, and I'm like, oh my.
Like, how many things are they gonna be? I mean, it's on all levels.
Well, they canceled the Homestead fundraiser next weekend already.
Wow.
We don't even have a case of
I
it.
know. I guess they were like.
There's histrionics
There's
about
the
this
closest
thing.
one
I know.
is
It's
Suffolk,
crazy.
Norfolk
I
County.
know. I don't know. Yeah.
More people die of the flu.
I bought an emergency radio and.
You did
like,
not.
I bought I bought a bunch of stuff. Flashlights. I got a 3-pound bag of dried kiwi, dried mango. I'm not joking.
Did you happen to buy any sanitizer?
That was just one night. I got a little panic.
You can get it on eBay.
And it just keeps showing up. Ellen's like,
About, right?
You can make your own photo, like adding alcohol to like Sunbum aloe gel.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I bought. I bought a bottle of alcohol.
People are using vodka.
Now you're talking.
That's what I would stock up on.
Yeah. I think it would work too.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's too much hype or what, but.
I think it is.
Emergency radio.
It's all fake
It's like hand
news,
crank.
Matt.
And,
Fake news.
and I have
Yeah, it can't hurt to
two
have it.
kids in college that are getting sent home until further notice because they're closing
We were
colleges.
supposed to
Wow.
go to a class at Holy Cross, and they canceled it. I'm like, no. It was on Saturday. Nope.
We don't have a case of it here.
No,
Why?
but everybody's freaking out about it. I mean, rightfully so, but at the same time, when is it coming?
There's a good graph I saw. And it showed you every county how many people in Massachusetts have it.
Did you also look at the statistics about the people who die from the regular flu?
Yeah, it's like
Tenfold.
47,000.
It's not you and I and anybody here. It's people who are already compromised in some way.
Stop and Shop, an important message regarding the coronavirus. It's an email from Stop and Shop. Dear customers. You're closely following the guidance of local, national, and global health.
Having a sale on.
Here, well.
They don't have any.
Out of abundance of caution, we've also suspended food sampling programs. I know.
No, they do sometimes have people handing stuff out.
We've ramped up our already thorough process to sanitize high-touch areas.
Whoa, it jumped up to 92 now. In the state of Mass.
I know they strip one, but. Right. Just mention. It seems like it is. Yeah. Matches. It should. I just didn't want to. No.
Every email I get.
Yeah, I got jobs out there. I keep going by it. Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather know where I thought I'd mentioned it.
Coronavirus in preschoolers.
I figured you might.
Yeah.
We don't have
Check
it.
it out.
No, I know.
That thing's been,
Yeah,
they just started. You know, so
Yeah,
it's
well, I
been
saw
like,
somebody with a truck out there today. It looks like the forms are in for that side.
yeah,
So maybe it's good we had a chance to.
yeah.
What?
It may mean nothing.
No.
State
I'll
emergency
check it.
has been declared in Massachusetts. Because it jumped.
I thought it was number 15 and it was number 12. I got here.
No, it's fine. We're gonna actually, once we finish with Matt, we're gonna
Take who's ever here.
pick up whoever's here.
What?
What happened? State of emergency?
Yeah.
In a state
Where?
of emergency.
Mass. Went from 51 to 92 today, from yesterday to today.
I wish they'd run the actual flu numbers at the same time.
That's what I said.
And the other thing that kind of bothers me is they don't include ages or health conditions.
Right.
Like, I get you need to summarize, but then let us click on it and get more information.
Crazy.
Oh, all right, so you guys ready to roll?
Yeah.
All right, so we're on number 19, 11 Davis Lane, new shed.
Raj.
Zoning shed, apparently.
Is this the Jeep shed?
Yes, yeah. So this is the 200 square foot.
I'm with you, John. Aye.
John's motion to approve, and the carries unanimously, no dissent. Now we're cooking with gas.
So, sorry.
11 Davis Lane, New Cabana Pool House, second dwelling.
So, Mr. Chair, this is.
Oh.
Excuse our membership's spontaneous exclamation.
That was a great reaction. So basically, yeah, it's a half bath with a storage facility portion. It's basically kind of a just storage for outdoor grilling, and then we've got it covered with a roof. The orientation, you can see with the south elevation, with if there is any visibility from the road, you would see that the solid shingle side, if you will. The remaining portions, we think if you're gonna see anything, it'll be mostly just the roof, but.
Okay. Comments, questions, who'd like to start?
I'd like to see the roof mitigated.
Is it
to
the
make
roof or
this-
the height?
Well, it's the height, and it's this negative mass, we, you know, except for a tube, and I just think it doesn't need to draw attention to itself. It's one more thing.
That was pretty clear. Jesse?
Yeah, I'm okay with the roof, but if you made it more of a bungalow hip roof kind of thing, it might.
I mean,
help.
how tall is it, the walls?
The chairs, is that furniture or is that like fixed?
No, those are just for.
I would just, if
they're
that's
not
furniture,
permanent.
just get them out of there.
Door is over 7 feet, it doesn't need to be.
It looks like a barber chair.
Yeah.
All right. John? Comments?
The shit, I noticed on here that it said that the leaders are copper.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one we just approved, the one that you motioned to approve. On the Jeep shed.
That
I know.
means the house too,
They
right?
give you
With white trim?
12 feet across there,
Hmm.
give you 15 inches.
That's it. Okay. Do you have any concerns about this other than the chairs be wide enough for people who might need a little more space? So Matt, I would just suggest that maybe you lose, if you look at your north elevation, your east elevation, I mean, there's the better part of 9 inches to a foot that you could bring your eaves down just by lowering those posts.
Sure.
And it's gonna read just as lovely as it does. It just won't look over tallish.
Gotcha.
Does that ring with you?
No,
No?
it's not the height. It's not that high. It's the big roof over this negative mass,
Okay.
which, you know, I think could be mitigated. You could do a little gable and then a shed off of that or something. It won't be as dramatic, but it will serve its purpose and not be such a one more focal point in a simple area.
Sure.
Okay. So we have a range of opinions.
Yeah. I mean, I think I got the gist. I'll see if you can maybe change roof style, soften it, lower it.
Okay.
Maybe all of the above, drop the plate.
You're always very sensitive to our comments. Thank you. Motion to hold for revisions, please.
Motion to hold for revision.
Carries unanimously, no dissent. That's for Jesse. Okay, new pool. Same address, 11 Davis Lane.
And for me, this is all just about what's gonna mask it. If it's a ginormous fence, I'm gonna jump up and down.
All right, so Matt, would you mind please just walk us through your...
Sure. So basically we've got this fencing. The idea is to actually hide it in privet, basically on both sides. So
Privet.
Fencing.
Yeah.
Natural, Matt, think natural.
Yeah. That's, well, I mean, we were gonna initially use synthetic privet, but we're gonna go with the real stuff.
It's a lot easier to shear.
Tactic.
You don't have to worry about the electric versus gas idea.
Elizabeth Overwork did a pool farther down here, somewhere pretty close, and you can't even see it. It's like using all the materials from the area, the
So
different.
naturalized planting indigenous materials.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. It took a while.
But it's so nice
Oh,
because
yeah,
there's a
no.
pool there, but you don't see
Right.
it. It's not
It's
like
a
this.
good example of how you can do
rooms.
it. And Mark Hardy did one too that was, he brought the landscape into around the pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely, Matt, if nothing else, because they might not agree with me, the fence has to come off the property line.
Okay.
At least 5 feet and something in front of it.
Okay.
Jess?
Yeah, I think it needs a landscape plan.
Okay.
Like a planting plan.
John?
Okay.
Okay. So, Matt, I'm actually not to be contrarian to, my colleague Dale's comment about the fence location. As long as it's naturalized planting and it's not visible, I don't think you can do that with it right on the property line. So, there's that, and I do think again, to say, I think for the third time, naturalized indigenous is the key to success. And that also means maybe not just like a solid height, a solid line, groupings, height. I think that'll be an important aspect of the screening for the pool. With respect to the pool, I don't see any concerns.
Okay.
So can we, what do we want to do? Hold for a
Yes.
landscape
I'll have to make some edits.
for screening? The screening
Yeah,
plan?
and I don't think it needs to go right to the property line. I'm being Diane now.
Oh, you mean in terms of the screening?
No, the
Or the
fence
fence.
is right on the line.
Well, he's saying he's
Yeah.
going further.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see what he
Yeah, I
comes
gotta
up
move
with.
the fence no matter what.
Love it when we reach consensus. A motion to hold for revisions?
Okay.
Is that yours?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I'm not making a motion.
Yes.
Okay, so that carries unanimously, no dissent. John, thank you for your vote on that. Can I get, a motion to pull up, 17A Washington, or no, I'm sorry, 9 Coffin Street, permits plus?
Mr. Chair, there's 23 Pine Street.
Yeah, Matt has another one.
One more.
One more.
Matt, it's not that we don't love you, I'm sorry. So let's, hold my request for a motion.
Well,
We're gonna do 22, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the black and white text clearly in front of me.
No,
Moving.
it's the front facade he's been finessing.
Okay, Matt, please walk us through what sheet and we'll bring it up.
Sure, it's actually, it's kind of a simple change, well, proposing to actually go back to the 2/2s.
What sheet?
Actually, sorry, sheet A 2.1. And so we initially submitted this with the 2/2s, which was the preference of the owner. We did get approval for the I think there were 6/1s previously. The original, we do show the existing, pre-existing conditions. We did get approved as 6/1s. After spending some time in the neighborhood, the owner just went up and down the immediate area and found that there was actually a predominant amount of structures with 2/2s. We provided addresses of the houses of the 2/2s. So we feel like it's totally contextual, and it's the preference of the owner. At the time of the approval, he was kind of on the fence about it. I said, if you don't feel strongly about it, let's just go with 6/1s. But now that they've had some time to really get into it, and the house is set back down, he's about to order windows, and he's like, I just really feel strongly. He's like, I really prefer these 2/2s. He's like, I've spent some time in the neighborhood now, kind of walked around, and he brought up a great point, and then I said, sure, well, let me just kind of go around town, I'll take some pictures and bring it back to you, to the board. So that's the primary change, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Val, you seem to be ready to spontaneously.
He's right, but these houses are significantly different in style.
Okay.
And the only Foursquare that I see is Bernie Bartlett's old house on Pleasant Street, which is not Pine Street. Did HSAB weigh in?
Oh, yes, thank you. I will tell you that there was a comment to, let's see.
I know before.
Sergeant Warren prefers 6/6, 2 in favor, 1 abstention.
Mr. Chair, can I also just follow up on Val's point? I mean, I think that I totally agree with you that there is varied styles, and this house is actually no exception. The one thing I found that was interesting about it, the 2/2s, was that it was on such a number of different types, if you will. This being one of them. I think historically it's accurate, but.
Other concerns, Val?
He hasn't given us any pictures to say.
Historically, I don't know. That would be great. Because you want to just say that that's the case?
Sure.
You know what? It's possible. We've gone back and forth on this
Do you
several
have
times.
the
So
previous approval?
Oh, the previous approval?
Yeah,
Because for me, it's more about, like, I know the sun porch, we spent a tremendous amount of time on how that was gonna play out, and I don't recall in my brain.
Which would fall in line with the age of this house.
Okay, well, we're considering that. Jesse, comments?
I like the 202s. I think that, I think they look nice. I'm over the 6/6.
Okay, John?
2-minute history. This structure at 9 Pine Street, bottom left, it used to be down on the wharf, steamboat wharf, where the boat comes in now. And that was the restaurant we had down there. And then somebody moved it up here on Pine Street, and now the Weldon family owns it.
Interesting.
It was originally a restaurant, you said? Yeah?
That's why you got those half round windows.
Yeah, beautiful windows. The casing's pretty amazing too.
Yeah. All old pine. You put pine on a building now, it'll rot out in about 15 minutes. John, any comments on the proposed 2/2s?
I don't know what happened here.
So this was the existing, and then he's proposing 2/2, pretty much throughout, with the exception of the smaller windows, which are before light or too late.
No, okay, thank you.
Matt, I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, I would prefer a 6/6. I think it's probably most appropriate, but given the context, I think the 2/2 is probably appropriate. More so given the fact that with the landscaping that we've seen is you're only gonna see the second floor, primarily the second floor above these roof elements on the first floor. So those are my thoughts. Do we have further comments or a motion?
No, because I disagree with that. I think it's gonna be full-on view. There's just a shed here. And it looks nice, but I think HSAB gave us a lot of commentary the last time, and we all sort of.
I mean, if I could just add one final, point is I do,
And this is all patio.
Yeah. But I would say the question is whether or not they're, inappropriate, and I would say that there's precedent for immediate context for this type of window. I think that it wouldn't be unthinkable to think that, a house of this age, the time period's appropriate. There's precedent on the street, and then just aesthetically, I do think you could go either way. But to me, I actually felt that we started with the 2/2s because we actually felt that it was a little bit more. It was kind of quieter, if you will. The 6/1s are a little bit busier. I just think there's enough historic documentation and precedent, and to support the 2/2s. So I'll just finish with that.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I don't think you're going to talk either way on it. So, but still appreciate the comment. John, where were you on this? Are you okay with it?
No, the only thing I think, the cross box on the second, the doorway upstairs, the stairwell, it should be more a different design than.
Okay, so this is actually gonna come off, it's gonna be an addition.
Thank you, no comment.
Okay, so, would someone care to make a motion and we'll see what happens, I guess?
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Okay.
Sorry, Val.
It's all right.
Jesse's made a motion to approve as submitted. John, where are you?
As submitted?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so, and I'll go with the group, the herd, us.
Thank you very
Us
much.
birds.
Means a lot to the owner.
I'm a no.
And Val's a no.
Yeah, I
Matt,
really appreciate
thank
that.
you.
Means a lot to the owner. They really, we're really hoping for that. Me too, so thank you.
Good job, Matthew.
Oh, thank you, John.
There you go. So now we will go back to a motion for 9 Coffin Street, please, permits plus under 12.
So moved.
All right. And is there anyone else who was
that was
late?
No.
Yeah, that was that house.
Tori's here. JB's here.
Okay, yeah.
Wiggins
What
here.
number is he? Oh, he's later, 24.
Neil, somebody is not
Listen.
here.
If they're not here now,
So this is fenestration changes. Thanks. Mark, would you walk us through your, I think your elevations at this point?
The elevation context is in the photographs. There are no elevations of the structure of itself. I'll give you a little history. The homeowner went in and started doing work on this building without a permit. Found out by the building department. They meatballed the project. I was tasked to come in and remedy that, and I saw that they had taken out some features on the back of the building in terms of how they were generating their new floor plan. That included a couple of doors. And so I said to the homeowner, we really need to come to the HDC and fess up to what you've done, and then discuss the other changes that you want to do that have not been done at this time. And he agreed, and so we're starting the process to be able to get a valid building permit for the work he proposes to continue to do. So if you look at the drawings in context, the third floor plan.
Mark, actually, I'm sorry. Can I ask you to go to the, I have a quick question. Go to the pictures. And can you tell us which photo number is the northeast?
The northeast, I'm looking for the...
I just don't have the benefit of flipping around with plans while I'm trying to...
Right. The northeast is essentially the front and lane side of the house. In other words, the one with the transom panels, because of the skew on it.
So 6 and 5 and 6?
5 and 6.
Okay.
And there is one discrepancy on photo 6. There is, to the left, there is no door there. And so we're not removing anything there. You can see that that wall is the existing painted shingled wall. I'm not sure how that note got there, but there is no door there. So the only thing that's happening on there, if you agree to it, are the features that are in that gable end. And by virtue of the design of the kitchen, they'd like to you to consider letting them remove them.
Photo 5.
Photo 5.
Okay. Thank you. That's a clarification I needed.
So the dormer's already there
Yes.
and was approved?
Well, this building dates, the original construction dates back to 1930. So I don't know when that construction actually took place, but it was probably pre-HDC. The building's basically been vacant for about 25 years, and they went in to do some mold remediation inside the building and got a little carried away.
Okay. So comments are no real concerns with the proposal. Question, clarification, already the northeast elevation where door and 2 windows will be removed. Without, proposed elevations, it seems from the floor plan, sheet A1, that there will be no windows or doors. And then elevation plans would be helpful.
Yeah.
8 to have no quorum. I agree with Seth about elevations being helpful. Okay, so those are the comments. Who would like to start with?
I don't really understand it yet, so I have to keep looking at it.
Okay. Would it help for you to have Mark cross-reference the floor plans to the pictures?
No, I'd
Okay.
just like to know, like, this whole door and window system is coming out and it's gonna be nothing?
That's open to discussion. I suggested to the homeowner that even though the kitchen is going to occupy that space, that we keep those elements on the gable end, repair them, and then just cover them up on the inside.
I think that's a better solution.
I can't see it just being blank, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
and that looks kind of like a historic front.
It's a kind of a quirky, unique feature on this otherwise fairly mundane structure.
Can Jesse, any?
No, I'm just, I think that's a good idea, what was just suggested for the kitchen rhino. And I don't know what other things are being clouded here, it's hard for me to.
There are just a couple of doors in the back that are being removed that really can't be seen from the street.
Got it. And one door, oh, right, you got a potty, but there's nothing there. And then the AC unit, you're asking for it to stay there.
We're asking for it to stay there. They started work on it, and I called them on it.
I mean, I don't have issues with what's proposed if you keep that historical looking door in transit.
I think it needs to stay, quite frankly.
I'm trying to, was there a locus map on this? I'm trying to.
There is a locus, it's down the lane. If you go down Coffin Street and you turn in on the back of the lobster trap, you go into that little shell lane that gets to the back of 3 homes.
Yeah, so you
in
can't,
there.
Yeah, it's just I've never seen this building before. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah. I had never seen it either.
Is that? Oh, I thought the battery died.
No, well, I wanted to mention that from the property information that I noticed, it looked like this section was the original, and then it's been added on to, based on the property.
Okay.
History.
So where is the AC unit on that?
It's like in that courtyardy area.
It's in the middle of that courtyard on the back of the building, right there.
Facing the street?
No, there's no street there. There's a house actually in front of that, on that lot. You can't see the back, inside the back of this, from Coffin Street or even from the lane because of the shape of it. There's the AC unit.
John?
If you finish, yeah, probably done. Straighten it out themselves.
Oh, and by the way, we paid a fine.
Oh, you did, okay.
For this.
I was wondering about that.
Is that the kitchen area?
Yes.
Okay. I'm good with it if you keep it on the outside.
So just for clarification, when we say keep it on the outside, we're saying the windows remain, the exterior feature of the door trim and the storm door, the wooden storm door remain. The glass will be a black.
I think we can probably expose the glass to the inside as an
is there
alternative. Why else would there be windows up there?
Well, that's my concern. I'm not a big fan of having like fake windows with like a piece of
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
The only concern I would have for you all with respect to, leaving it as it is that the way it's laid out, it looks like the bathroom and the kitchen are off. There's a wall perpendicular to the door and the windows, but it's not centered between them. So it's not like you could just spread those 2 4-lights.
Oh no, we're not going to spread anything. We're going to cover up, and we'll stop the partition if we have to for the bathroom lower to be able to configure it.
Okay.
We'll figure out something on the inside to deal with that.
Okay, so the 4 lights basically then would remain, the 2 4-lights in the door and the frontis trim would remain largely as it is shown.
I think it has to.
Largely. Okay.
I agree.
Okay, I want to be sure I'm clear what we're. Okay, do we any concerns with that?
Just one.
Yeah.
On A1, top left is a bedroom in the corner, and
There used to be a door there.
where is it?
We're on the back of the building in their backyard.
Where's the air conditioning unit gonna go?
It's actually showing on one of the drawings, but it's right here.
Okay. So would you like to craft a motion you can write down as a condition?
I motion to approve through staff leaving the 4 light windows and wooden door on, I don't know what side it is.
It's the northeast.
Northeast.
You can reference the photo if you want to.
What photo number is that?
That photo number is
A5.
5.
Number 5.
Okay. 3 windows and door shown on photo 5. That's my motion.
And we're talking just about the center one, not the two little windows that are hidden off to the side behind the hedge.
I thought
that
he
are in
was
photo
talking
5.
about that.
Those
You
would be
said the
problematic
floor.
for the bathroom. The two windows that are right here.
Yeah, I was referring to the two over the door.
Yes,
Okay, I thought you said the 4.
Four lights.
The two 4 lights.
they're 4 light windows.
Okay. Leave the window and the door shown on photo 5.
Or resembling, you know, like they might have to.
But okay, we'll move that side.
Side window, okay.
Bathroom windows.
So if we just decloud that for the staff, that would be
Yeah.
adequate?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, good. Was that voted? I think it was unanimously, no dissent. We're gonna go to,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Mark. We're gonna go to 80 Center. Neil? No. So can I get a motion to hold 80
Motion to
Center?
hold 2380 Center for representation.
All right, so JB Studio, 33 Mill.
23 Oak Brook.
Yep.
Hello. How are you?
Okay. Will you full name for Terry on the tape?
Okay.
Juraj Benkat, JB Studio.
There you go, we have a long,
Thank you, Yuri. All right, let me just
So-
get some bearing here.
Yeah, so we got this double French door approved, except it was I think 12 or 16 light with some key panel, and we wanted to change it to a little different design with the transom and 6 light and 1 panel below. It kind of
you can see this.
we wanted to, yeah, you cannot really see it much, and we wanted to match actually the door that's on the wall next to it. You can see it on the 3D view if you go the other way, yeah, a little lower. So you wanted to match the design on that existing door that's on the right with the transom and 6 panel. So we just wanted to go kind of same way, match the trim, go with the transom and double French door.
Okay. Any questions on the work, and then I'll read comments? John, you got any questions before I read comments?
Yeah, here's one.
There's no pictures of it.
This is right. Okay. So existing approved previously, and then what you proposed. That's this.
Most of them?
Yeah.
It's consistently the same people.
Okay.
3D.
You good? Okay, but no.
That's what was approved previously. Just wanted to change, or keeping the same size opening.
You can still
It
comment.
was
I just
approved,
want to know
but
if you have any questions. Right now, we're just doing questions. Quickly. Okay. So comments, 8-sub are circa 1820, typical Nantucket style. I'm gonna pass, it was Georgie Coffin's whaleboat builder. Suggested is less lights in the French door and a simpler mantel shelf detail, subservient to the front door. House has had few alterations over the years, and plans need to be clear with respect to which east elevation. I'm not sure what that one means.
I don't know.
Is there a,
It wasn't clear, you look at the, like, okay, this
Oh,
is
gotcha.
technically the whole east elevation, which side was it?
Yeah, it's right there.
Logic, you can tell.
So it's in this little.
It's right there in
notch
that little
the
nook,
audio.
yeah.
It's in this little notch right here.
Yeah, it's right there.
okay, so that'll be clear in the plan. So, comments were, with the quorum, agree with staff, recommend simple trim and a 12 light, 1 panel door, some visibility likely. Okay, John, are you ready to comment?
No.
No, who would like to comment?
I will. I prefer the previous approval. It this looks almost like a front door that's not a front door. And, you know, you can see it, especially this time of the year when you're standing on the sidewalk. It's not that oblique of an angle. Less trim, simpler door. And those 6 lights are not old style.
Old.
Right.
Gotcha. Jess?
Yeah, I mean, I can go with Val on that. I mean, the transom part and the trim part is matching another door, which,
Would you walk up to that and know which door to go into?
no. No. So, again, but I think more concerning would be, yeah, I don't know, I think what you have is fine. My other question though, what you already had approved, that is, you know, I'm looking at the site plan and I see brick steps and they just show that one little corner there.
That's the existing, yeah.
And then I look at your 3D here and you've got
Yeah.
a whole landing there. So is that proposed as well?
That's proposed. That's how it was actually. We have that approved that way with the
So that was part
bigger
of the
landing. It was in
original
front of the
approval?
door, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, not either of these doors actually. Even the door on the right is existing now. It's not the front door. It's also side door, which front door is right from the Milk Street. So we just wanted to match.
Have a transom anyway.
Correct. Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
if
sure,
I
yeah, it
may,
does.
attached to the staff comments, there should be some HABs information. They're included.
Oh,
So
okay.
this structure was actually surveyed by the Historic American Building Survey back when Beinecke was doing all of his work here. And you'll see there is an extensive detail of what was in this spot originally. Like I said in my report, that there hasn't been much of change to this structure at all. I can understand the nod to the front entry, the facade's entry doorway, which is very simple. But this is a little over as far as that goes, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Front south doorway is in a carpenter classic style with a typical mantel shelf drip detail at head and a simple attenuated pilaster at each side. That's exactly how I would have said it. Fixed over door of 5 lights, 6-panel door. Other doors have simple board trim and vertical board and batten doors. John, do you have any other comments?
No, different.
Okay.
Different ones would make a difference.
So, I think that, you know, it's pretty stacked as a probably not gonna happen, with changes, just to be clear. So where are we going?
You can send them back for revisions, but, or deny. But,
Yeah, I mean, I personally would not be adverse to just really simplifying that. I get that you're trying to echo what's going on with the rear door that already has the transom and the kind of dressed up front. Let's call it a Bacchus piece now that it's not a frontis. But I don't think you're going to get support from the overall.
So if we, let's say, simplify the trim, let's go with simple 1x6 or 1x4.
I would suggest
And-
that maybe you bring back
I
some
think it's more the
options.
doors,
And
they're
the-
too modern for it.
And then go with
to match the
go with
style
like
of
12 light
houses.
door.
Yeah, you might bring back a couple options, see if you can get it to fly.
Yeah.
I have a
But
question,
would
Jim.
would that be option
I'm
still
looking at it
keeping?
now. Seeing
keep-
those 6 light windows in each door,
Yeah.
what's the outside material of that? Is that like aluminum stone doors, aluminum what? Or the wooden painted?
It's wood.
Wood.
Yeah.
Huh?
Wood. It's wood.
Wood?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Painted white.
What was your question, Eric?
If the transom is still an option, or you think there is no way to get that approved?
I
With
personally
different,
don't
like-
think there's any way for it to work there, but
I almost would like to see, an option that kind of is secondary to the one that exists to the right of it, because I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'm not suggesting I'm gonna approve it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. But clearly the 6 light need to be I'd probably say 12 light, so they're simplified.
It's, yeah, I mean, you can change it to 12 light, yeah, it's no problem.
But I think
And
you probably got
simplified trim.
enough to work with.
Yeah.
So we'll have a motion to hold for revisions. So move.
Yeah, so.
So
I hope we don't get back.
You know,
I hope we don't get back all the way
that you got
to.
approved before is as high
Yeah, no, we,
as this one is with the transom, and it fits in.
yeah,
It's not gonna give you any more light than
No.
the window you're proposing. I just think I'd hang it up if it was me.
yeah, it's the owners, they want to make it
It's
a little
not.
more complicated, and that's
Yeah.
why we went
You
through
get paid
this.
by the hour, so. Okay, I think
But-
we're good. Yes?
Hold for revision.
All right. Thanks for giving us the,
Thank you.
so we are on number 25, 14 Bassett, Wade Perkins. Come on down. Hey, Twig, welcome.
Nice to see you.
How goes it?
So far, so good. John? How you doing? Good.
All right, you want to walk us through what we got in front of us?
Yes, essentially, the owners wanted to grow roses. We built several different scenarios with the owners to come up with what we thought looked the best. And that's what we came up with. The other thing is, the house was originally approved because we cannot see it from a public way. I just wanted to bring that up.
Is that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is that the third, this picture? Showing you can't see it? It shows the street number?
Really understand. Right?
Okay.
That's the driveway, 14.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, so this was just brought about, this is from a result of a violation. So I have a picture of the trellis there, if you want to look at it.
Okay. Is it a picture from the house or?
No, from the
picture
street, from the street, but yeah, it was put up,
Is it two houses?
and it's just, it's a connector.
The big house to the right is pre-existing, and we recently finished the one on the left, which is the guest house.
Which explains why there's no roses yet. Right?
Yes.
I'm just checking, I want to make sure I understand.
So there'll be windows, Twig?
No,
Where-
there are no windows. It looked too sterile by building a lot of lattice. And it's not the closed lattice, it's, it's an open, roughly 3x3 lattice. So we put windows in just to break it up because it looked like it's too much. So there will be, if this is approved, there will be planters roughly at each post, so the roses will go up and spread to either side.
So the windows are behind the,
There are no windows, it's just an opening, it's just a cedar to weather muntins.
oh, okay. Okay.
It's just all open.
But I mean,
It's
there are windows behind the lattice.
behind,
On the wall,
the
the
far
exterior.
left are the kitchen windows, yes.
No, in these three, it's just open lattice with
right here?
an
Yeah.
opening that's defined by a wood
Yeah, those are
grid.
real windows. So I
You're right,
heard,
and the
just
other
to
ones are
clarify, can I just jump in here, guys? So just to clarify, what we're reading is that these are either windows in the lattice or openings in the lattice.
They're openings.
Openings.
And the one on the far left, that one behind it
Is the
is a
window.
kitchen window.
So this will be openings, and then this would be an
They're-
opening but with
They're all,
mutton,
they're all openings and they all have
the built-in mutton,
mutton.
to look like a window.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it in
Just-
my old lady magnifying glass app.
Oh, you have an old
Also known as
lady?
a camera. Can you zoom in with it?
That's
Yeah,
hysterical.
hey, now I lost my spot.
It's over here.
Shut up. See? You can't really see it.
It's barely visible.
Oh, yeah, I see now.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I see those pictures?
You want the app too?
Oh, sure.
What's it called? I need
Let's
it.
just pick the ones.
No, seriously, what's it called? I'm gonna get it
I
now.
don't know, it's called
Magnifying glass?
Maglite.
Twig, on your
Oh, I have a magnet.
west elevation, there's a fenestration change too, or no?
Yes, in the original, original design, Ray raised a point about the dormers, didn't like them, so we just got rid of them and lowered the windows in the bedroom.
Gotcha.
Which is, you can see the little squiggle on the top left.
Anyone ready to comment?
I'm okay with this. I think once it's all planted, it's far enough off the road that,
Yeah, originally that's where the location of the garage was, where the new house is, and there was something very similar.
Okay, Jess?
I'm good with it.
John?
I'm supposed to be this small here.
Oh, yeah, you noticed that.
What do you know?
I didn't hear him. It's all cedar to weather.
That is right?
Yes.
Why are these not cased?
Can I see that?
They're just openings. It looked like it was too much if it was just lattice. So we thought we would just break it up with some openings.
Thank you.
It's hardly visible.
So, do I hear a motion to approve as submitted, subject to planting a rose, bush in front on the
Yes.
yard side of each of the 4 panels?
C.
Okay. Whose motion is that?
Thank you.
John's?
Okay.
And that carries unanimously. There
Jesse,
being
I'll
no
take that.
dissent. Thanks, Twig.
All right, everybody have a good night.
Thank you, Twig.
Roses at what? All the posts?
Roses are
Thank you for
red.
coming in.
Roses at the
Each,
posts.
one for each lattice panel area.
I know.
That's not really what I said.
Well, I know all about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Link.
Hey, guys.
So if you could,
I don't know what phone call.
just say your
Don't worry
name
about
for Terry,
Victoria Ewing.
and we are doing, bear with me, number 26307 Pulpit Road.
You got it.
I'd like to get out of here pretty quickly. So just to be, Ross is not here, so we're gonna close the meeting at approximately 8:15.
Awesome. You have
Just to
15
be clear,
minutes. Yep.
we're closing the meeting at approximately 8:15, which is 15 minutes from now. All right.
I'm good with that. I'm
Well,
going
we're
back
gonna
to
finish
build
it.
trees.
We just got this and
Okay, Tori, would you mind walking us through,
Sure thing.
I think the site plan would be good first.
What's the vintage of this?
The one that they want to move off demo.
Yeah.
It looks like the drawings are from 1992. Are anyone eyes better than me? It's right in the corner
Have
of
you
this.
been in it?
I haven't been in it. They did tell me that.
Ladies, I want to keep to our schedule, please.
Okay.
Can we hit the site plan? Just if you tell us where it is, what's visible, what's not,
Right there at the back left where the blue highlighter is.
approximately how far from the street,
That is.
hundreds of feet?
Yeah, hundreds of feet. We've
Okay.
got over 300.
way
Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. 361 feet it looks on the left. That
Okay.
dimension.
No comments
It's a move
from,
demo.
any
It's a
advisory
move
boards. And then, I'm sorry, Val, I did mean to cut you off. but
The
I'll let you
reason
keep
I
going.
was asking is because I think it's super cute, and is it something that's movable?
It looks like it's pretty small and could be. It's a fairly open field to get it.
did you see the
Concom is.
shingles on the ground? I mean,
Yeah.
rotted.
So from what I hear from them, it's on a crawl space that gets a tremendous amount of water, and it's very moist and watered and damaged and all that.
I was just thinking
No
of this
significance.
cute.
Interesting.
Okay, John, any questions, comments?
Yes.
What is that? Only that one that was.
Move it to,
26, John.
What?
3 Miller Lane.
Around the corner? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah. Okay.
housing.
No, see the little triangle? That one. Yep. You got it.
You good?
Okay, it's 8:05.
All right, motion
Yeah.
to approve is a.
John, any other questions?
It looks like he has a
Any
question.
other questions? Not that we're rushing you or anything. Demo, okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to move off for demo.
Okay, that's, carries unanimously, no dissent. Valid motion. to number 27, still on 307 Pepys Road, New Barn.
Where's the house?
Tori, this is on the same spot?
Same spot. It is 4 foot bigger, provided Concom lets us go 4 feet bigger. If not, it would be the exact same footprint that is currently being moved off.
And the visibility of this from the street?
0 to none as far as I can see from my own.
Jesse, any questions?
No concerns.
Dale?
Me either.
John?
Wait, what's the roof? Black?
Red cedar. Wood.
Okay.
Does that match the house?
Red cedar roof.
Yes, it does actually, and I can submit pictures if you need me
Same
to.
spot, New Barn.
You got it.
All right, does that mean we're done, or do we got some Ross Goodwin?
Good. So,
Same circus, different clowns.
do I have a motion?
I made a motion.
Val got me to it, so Val's motion to approve is submitted, carries unanimously, there being no dissent.
Okay.
Sign that, you sign this. Tori, that's it for you, right?
Great, thanks guys.
Okay, so we are.
Appreciate it.
38 York Street, can I get a motion to hold for representation?
Hold for representation number 28.
Okay, we already did the minutes, and without a full board, I suggest we waive other business unless staff have something.
I do, because I have to post a meeting schedule. I forgot about Patriots Day in the office. We're closed. So I need to post this because people make plans for applications. I can give you a copy of what I did. I emailed you all of you earlier, but it's just, I just don't like to wait too long.
Okay, so that was under other business already noticed. So
It's under, vote on updated HTC meeting schedule through 4/21. So if you flip it over on the back, 4/21 is a Tuesday. We're closed 4/20, so and it's a new business, so I had to change the posting dates.
Okay.
And also, I made another note about Resilient Nantucket for the 26th.
Different time though.
2 and 6, so just a note.
Yes.
How I thought it might be a nice idea.
Did you have a thank you for that, and thank you for that, and did you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Fabulous.
The
All right, and
amended.
can I get a motion
agenda.
to adjourn?
Agenda, we like that, thank you.
Motion to,
8:05.
what do you say?
Adjourn?
Marby, we're 5 minutes
Thank
off
you.
my target.
Here's your pen.
Thank you.
8:06.
Woohoo,
Yeah,
record.
right.
Glad we didn't have anything contentious.
Okay.
I'm so glad that I just have HTC
All right.
as in like instead of playing.
Don't forget to wash your hands, everyone. We're in a state of emergency.
All right, and I
State of
just